is closed, and there's a right lane closure as well on the southbound side of the tri-state. In Summit, southbound Harlem Avenue is closed from 61st to 63rd after a fatal collision in that area on southbound Harlem. Northbound Harlem is open. Most of the overnight roadwork is clearing on the expressways and tollways. The Kennedy Express lanes are now open on the inbound side. Still have a little bit of a lingering roadwork delay on the outbound Stevens Cast past 355, where there's been a right lane closure this morning. Mild delays on inbound I-57 and the Bishop Ford Freeway before it has some outbound work at 159th and also at Sibley in the left lane. Elsewhere, things are pretty quiet. Traffic is a service of the Chicago Office of Emergency Management and Communications. April is 911 Education Month. Teach kids how to call 911 in an emergency. Listen to the call taker's instructions. Help them help you. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, mostly cloudy, periods of rain for the morning, followed by a shower in spots for the afternoon, high 54. Tonight, mostly cloudy, low 47. Tomorrow, a shower or thunderstorm in the area, high 69. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
47 at O'Hare, 44 along the lakefront. Your next news update, 5:30, Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Military Mortgage Talk with host Tony Gatliff, Sunday mornings at 9 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan. And in for Amy this morning is reputable Chicago Tribune columnist John Cass.
Yeah, now there are two guys Michael Miner hates on the radio.
Yes.
Right?
The Ellsworth Toohey of the Chicago Press Corps, as I like to refer to him.
Yeah.
Also, two guys Eric Zorn hates.
Well, I don't know if we hate each other. I haven't talked to him for, 18 years.
Sure. I mean, it's a big office. You're not going to run into everybody.
Right.
Sure. That's good stuff. So here's the thing, Jen. A Cook County judge was killed. Oh, anyway, in other news, let's get back to United. Wasn't that a column you wrote recently, kind of juxtaposing the murder of a Cook County judge and what otherwise draws our attention?
I wrote a column. I think it's odd because I have I changed a schedule up a little bit because on Monday I wrote a column on the judge. I went out to the neighborhood where Judge Miles was killed, and we ran it Tuesday morning, but it's in the paper on Wednesday. I'm confusing myself now. Today's column...
the internet baffles you.
No. Today's column in the paper, I think, is on the Lamb Wars, but the one online that's up now, it should be up, is about, if there were a video of the judge, maybe we'd be outraged. Maybe we'd be outraged if there was a video of the priest being robbed at gunpoint during Holy Week, or those two little children who were shot, 12-year-olds, in Old Town. But what did Rahm do? He dedicated a street to a Cubs ball player who had, one good year? That was his deal? That's where we are.
Wow.
There's no video like Dr. Dow screaming.
Yeah.
It didn't happen.
Running up and down the aisle.
What does that say about culture when you have to have the video to whether it happened or not?
Well, he had to be fair.
To who? United?
Well, he got a split lip. The Cook County judge only got murdered. So, in terms of rank order of priority, we get to obsess about David Dow because he's represented by Corboy and Demetrio. Because
two fine doctors who are keeping him in the hospital.
Exactly, because he's in the news.
Right.
The judge he's gone. He's a statistic.
That's another deal. Once you can't, the victims can't talk. Right. victims cannot say anything. They
Well,
can't complain.
Well, but by the way, just on this whole United thing, can I just say something about
Be careful.
okay.
I just want you to be careful.
Okay, thank
because
you.
that's what United thing is. People are all locked in. It's all about emotion now, Dan.
Oh, I know.
This as a broadcaster. Facts, nuance, and a sort of context mean nothing.
Perspective, proportion.
It's all about emotion.
I know. Everybody gets their.
Let's go to war in Syria because I'm emotional.
Well,
you're right.
Okay, well, we'll get there.
Let's
But
go.
here's the thing. I give people 72 hours to be morally indignant, to run around telling all their friends and posting on through all their social media accounts how outraged they are because they're such a good person.
Virtue signaling, which is a phrase I learned from you listening to your show.
I get it. No, I get it. But here's the thing, and we'll take your calls, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 646-368, turnkey.pro text line. I get the idea of customer service being somewhat of a lost art, and so the companies, not just in the airlines, but the companies across sector that are really good at customer service, you notice because it's kind of a lost art, politeness, professionalism, and so forth.
Right.
And that's a real value. I get that.
Go to mom and pop airlines, you'll still get that.
But what about also companies that, much like Whammy Burger in Falling Down, treat their customers like adults? That's not our policy, right? The idea that I'm going to ask you politely to get off my plane. And if you don't want to get off my plane, these gentlemen are going to reaccommodate you off my plane. What is there some empathy for that perspective that I will ask you politely once, even twice, but at some point you have to understand what this relationship is. This is my property. This is my business.
Oh no,
if I don't want you here,
sorry, this is the new America,
and it's consistent with the terms of engagement, then you're going to leave. So you can leave peaceably, or you can leave less comfortably.
This is the new America. It has nothing to do with property rights. Don't count, as we know. It's not about that. It's about your feelings, and our feelings are: we hate the airline industry. You ever saw a jar of Vita creamed herring, which my dad used to like for some unknown reason?
I've never even heard of that.
At the butcher shop, you would eat that. That's what we are. We're the herring and cream in the jar in the plane, and they can stick a fork in and take one of us out, and we can scream, and and we don't like that.
Well, updating.
Of course, you're a tall, angular. Let's do a theater of the mind thing.
Yes.
Tall, angular fellow with long legs. I am a short, fat guy with legs that are. I think they'd fit into a shopping bag. I have very short legs.
For people who've never seen John Cass in person, think Dorf on golf.
Is that a Game of Thrones reference or something? And
I didn't say Peter Dinklage.
Oh, okay.
Come on.
Anyway, so it doesn't matter to me about the seat room, but for people like you,
right,
it matters.
It doesn't matter to me.
Doesn't matter.
No.
What matters to you?
Because I'm not a baby.
When my mom sits next to you on the plane, she starts talking to everybody.
Well, but that has nothing to do with the airlines. I mean, the idea. Oh, I showed up to the Southwest flight, and what? I don't have a luxurious day bed that I'm going to enjoy.
You
this
don't
flight.
fly. Dan Prof flies first class, my friend.
I fly private. Get out of here. I've never been on a Southwest flight. No, here's the thing. Just updating the story. The Chicago Department of Aviation has suspended 2 more police officers, 2 more security officers involved in dragging Dr.
Okay, I heard that yesterday.
Dr. Nick Riviera, David Dow, off the plane. So
Dr. Million Pills? We had a guy like that.
So two more security officers suspended. But this is interesting. Man who filmed the United Airlines passenger. I don't blame the security guards at all. It's clearly the man's fault that the security had to drag him off. He was resisting. I don't blame the security guards at all, said Tyler Bridges, who captured the moment of Mr. Dow screaming like a little girl.
I haven't heard that since Deer Hunter. That was.
It sounds like something from a Saw movie.
Right.
I mean, he's being tortured.
Right.
Somebody reaches over to you and says, "Sir, I said you have to go," and
grabs
your arm. Hey, is that a proportional reaction for an adult male? Okay,
Yeah.
I understand.
There you go, violating another rule.
Oh, I've identified his gender.
Yeah, you've identified your own gender. No one has a gender anymore. Keep going.
The gentleman Bridges who captured who provided the cell phone video. I blame United for the situation for getting to the point where the man was arguing with security. He said manager for United addressed the passengers in an authoritarian manner and said the flight would not leave until 4 people got off the plane.
Wish I had tape of that.
Oh,
excuse me. You're all going to leave now. With 4 of you have to, I could just imagine some officious bureaucratic geek.
Well, let me take the other position of the whole authoritarian manner. If somebody gets on said, look, we're not leaving. We have to have 4 passengers leave. So
what is this, lifeboat? We got to choose who goes over the side.
Or
Tallulah Bankhead.
She talked to me or he talked to me in an authoritarian manner. What's he supposed? Is this kindergarten? Hey, boys and girls. I mean, seriously, this is where I go back to say, can we have adult conversations? I want to be spoken to like an adult. I don't need to be babied.
Wait, you're not like a brony, like My Little Pony?
That's for the weekends. Marie and Kenosha, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning. Thank you for taking my call. I understand everything, Dan, over these last days you've been saying about the rights that companies have to run their companies and to own their property. But I would like to ask the question, this man legally and honestly, purchased a service, a good, and then he's told he can't have it.
Well, he's told it will be deferred, but the problem with, I understand what you're saying, and it's not an ideal situation, but the problem is it's within United's contractual rights to do what they did, to bump somebody from the flight.
I think she's right. Marie's right.
Well, so am I.
You buy a car and now you gotta wait.
Well, but maybe if you're ordering a car, it all depends on the contractual deal.
That's set up front, though. Of course, if I'm buying a new one right off the line, he says, "Oh, it's going to take a month or so to get here." Okay, that's the understanding before you, like you all say, he's already in the seat.
No, yeah, Marie, I take your point.
They sell it on TV. They sell it on TV in the commercials like a community. Like we're all flying together.
We're
like
family.
A family.
We are family. We're
right?
part of the United family.
So Dad comes down and Dad doesn't even have the guts to do it. He sends like the evil step uncle down to tell you you're not going to have Easter lamb.
Yeah.
No lamb for you.
And the step uncle's drunk, and then you get into a fight.
Not in my house.
Well,
yeah,
of course.
But still.
Well, I take Marie's point that so on the one hand, yes, they have the contractual rights. On the other hand, let's be real honest with the lawyers of the world. How many people read the particulars of the contractual relationship between you as a passenger and the airline as a carrier?
And who paid what to lobby the what is it, FAA, right?
Yeah.
To get that stuff through. And what kind of political this story opens up a lot of stuff. A lot of, opens up angles for everybody.
Like David Dow's lip. That's what it opens up.
Poor boy and Demetrio. He's hurting. He's in the hospital.
That's a $10 million lip. Here's the thing. I go back to say I totally agree with the people who say it should have never gotten to this. There were ways to avoid confrontation, ways to avoid conflict. But it should have never gotten to the cops being called. Find the market clearing price. This story from the New York Post. This week, my family and I profited from Delta's travel woes big time. We made $11,000. A veteran traveler and media commentator, Laura Begley Bloom, made $11,000 from volunteering to give up her family's tickets on an overbooked flight from New York City to Florida last Friday, the height of some spring vacation, right? Spring break. And so
it kept getting bumped 3 days in a row.
Well, so Delta found the clearing price, though.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing United could have done in this case.
As opposed to what's going to happen now is that the 2 cops who were following their orders are screwed.
Well, I do like physical comedy on planes. Chris in Riverside, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I just want to pick up on what John just said. The low-level cops are getting screwed, and somebody should take a look at their boss, because the truth is he's got a very, very interesting past.
At Chicago Department of Aviation, you mean?
No, his interesting past was at a place, I think you guys have heard of it. It's called the Illinois Toll Highway Authority.
Rings a bell.
Who's the boss?
And he just happened to be walked out of that place not long ago. And his sponsor said he's got to get another job. So the Department of Aviation ran a, quote, are you ready for this one? National search.
Sometimes the talent
Who
is
do you
local.
think so
Is it? Where did they search at Luke's beef stand on 36 in Harlem?
Well, now we know,
On
though.
Belmont in Harlem.
Now we know where he learned the escorting passengers out of particular areas. He learned it because it happened to him at the Toll Highway Authority.
Well, and let's just hear about, we're in the middle of a national security crisis about who we let in through our airports. And so, of course, here in Chicago, Rahm turns to a jamoke who actually, last I heard...
That's 36 word talk.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for the call, Chris. Appreciate it. But
Jamoke.
I love when people use
Jamoke.
the word jamoke.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Okay, it's the weather. Today, mostly cloudy, morning rain followed by a shower in spots this afternoon, a high of 54. And tonight, mostly cloudy, low of 47. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy and warmer with a shower of thunderstorms in the area, high of 69. And I'm skipping the Sunday because I'm grilling lamb for Easter. Partly to mostly sunny and breezy, high 70.
Even when the
Thank
weather's
God.
going to be good, it sounds bad with you reading it.
I don't care if it sounds bad, as long as I can cook my lamb without, having to do it in the front, in the garage, like I'm doing it in the front yard.
Please ask Jim
Okay.
Telemonte to tell us what's going on.
Jim
with traffic.
Telemonte, can people get to my house on Sunday with the traffic?
Absolutely, John. Good morning. The Toll Highway Authority stories bring back memories of one of the figures from your columns of past years, Quarters Boyle. But right now on the tollways, we have issues on the tri-state. To the north, at 120 Belvedere Road, there's a closure of the right lane there, and the ramp from 120 to the southbound tri-state is closed due to a crash. Summit, southbound Harlem Avenue is closed, 61st to 63rd after a fatal collision there. The expressways, we're seeing slight delays now on inbound I-57, Bishop Ford, and the inbound Ryan. Nothing too bad yet anywhere else. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
The website, upstream-ideas.com, premium content that complements what we do on this show each morning, selected interviews, long-form interviews that you don't find on this show because we don't have the time, with opinion leaders and policymakers like David Keene, former NRA president, podcast of our Illinois Rising program that covers Illinois policy and politics, as well as 60-second commentaries from yours truly and Follow the Logic Man on the Street segments this week, featuring UIC students trying to follow the logic on higher ed funding in Illinois. It's all at upstream-ideas.com. Sign up today.
Acme Home Insurance.
Yes, I'd like to make a claim.
What are you wanting to claim, sir?
My water heater broke down.
Sorry, but your homeowner's insurance doesn't cover water heater breakdowns.
So what do you cover?
Home damage from things like earthquakes, volcanoes, a zombie apocalypse.
A zombie apocalypse? But that'll never happen.
But if it did, you'd be covered, sir.
But not my water heater?
I'm afraid not.
But his water heater could have been covered with a home warranty from American Home Shield, plus components of 20 other major home systems and appliances, like his electrical system, plumbing, refrigerator, and more. For valuable free information, call 1-800-300-2127. Home insurance can cover what might happen.
Zombies are coming!
But a home warranty helps cover what will happen.
Now the dryer won't work.
Life happens. Have a plan. Get a home warranty from American Home Shield. For valuable free information, call 1-800-300-2127. That's 1-800-300-2127. 1-800-300-2127.
Go to where the pros go. McGrath Printing and Custom Apparel.
If you're a business owner with commercial printing needs, contact our friends at McGrath Printing Custom Apparel, proud supporters of AM 560 and Food for the Poor. McGrath takes care of all print and apparel needs for companies of all sizes. Chicago's biggest names in manufacturing, pharmaceutical, and medical choose McGrath Printing year after year for truly unmatched customer service and reliability. Mention AM 560 and receive 20% off your first order. That's right, 20% off by mentioning AM560. For a quick quote, visit McGrathPrint.com, McGrathPrint.com, or call 815-356-5246. That's 815-356-5246. Go to where the pros go.
Go to where the pros go. McGrathPrint.com. McGrathPrint.com.
We were at RJW Group yesterday, a big transportation and logistics concern that's out there in Lockport and scenic Will County. And it's all part of our AM560 Signature Bank Business Tour this spring. We're celebrating local businesses, overcoming the odds, and succeeding in Illinois. Think of it as making businesses great again. We're giving back to the business community by broadcasting our show from various locations throughout Chicagoland. Does your business have a great success story? If so, we want to hear about it. Go to 560theanswer.com/business, fill out the brief form to tell us about how you and your business are beating the odds to serve your clients and community. We're going to select a few more businesses as stops on our AM560 Business Tour and broadcast from your location to share your success with our audience. So go to 560theanswer.com/business to tell us your story. Again, that's 560theanswer.com/business. And we may be stopping at your business this spring on the AM560 Business Tour presented by Signature Bank.
Introducing the perfect getaway, nestled in the prairie, a place you can go to unload the stress of the day and recharge your inner peace. A place that fills your senses with fresh air and the sweet sounds of your Second Amendment rights being exercised. It's where you go to clear your head.
Set your sights for the range at 355. Shoot in a brand new state-of-the-art facility with 2 ranges, one programmable for distance and the other for turning and tactical drills featuring Mancom Touch Plus and Mancom Touch and Go systems. Trust us, it's cool. The range at 355, situated on a private parcel of wetlands at the crossroads of I-55 and 355 right off Boughton Road. A shooting oasis with a full array of firearms, ammunition, accessories, and classes with professional guidance and courteous instruction. Take a vacation from the mundane. The Range at 355, founded by patriots like you.
For range hours and info, visit range355.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Well, coming up, we'll have the tete-a-tete between Rexon and Putin. Maybe Mr. Tillerson isn't the Russian patsy that the left thought he would be. We'll discuss after we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. We have 45 degrees, cloudy skies outside. The Trump administration moving to build the nationwide deportation force that President Trump apparently promised during last year's campaign. Washington Post reports a Department of Homeland Security assessment shows that department is talking with dozens of local law enforcement agencies that could be given enforcement authority. President Trump says U.S. relations with Russia may be at an all-time low. Tensions between the U.S. and Russia have risen since last week's chemical weapons attack in Syria and a U.S. missile strike in retaliation. Syria and Russia, of course, are close allies. The passenger dragged off a United Airlines flight, signaling he's going to sue David Dow, filed what's called a bill of discovery yesterday that demands the airline preserve and protect evidence related to the incident last week. The Supreme Court finally returns to full strength today. After working shorthanded for more than a year, Justice Neil Gorsuch will join his 8 new colleagues in a conference room today. Gorsuch will have only a few days to ready himself for more than a dozen cases coming before the court over the next 2 weeks. One man faces murder and other charges in the shooting death of a Cook County judge, Raymond Miles. Police say Joshua Smith has been charged with first-degree murder, attempted murder, aggravated battery with a firearm, and armed robbery. Chief of Detectives Melissa Staples said yesterday footage from surveillance cameras helped lead authorities to arrest Joshua Smith.
The footage obtained from these cameras played a crucial role in identifying the vehicle that was involved in this incident.
More charges could be filed in the attack, which investigators believe was a targeted robbery. 2 more Chicago aviation police officers are on leave after a passenger was dragged off a United Airlines flight at O'Hare. Mayor Emanuel's offices says the 3 officers involved in Sunday's incident have been suspended. The latest plan to change how Illinois pays for schools is focusing on tweaks rather than any large-scale changes. State Senator Jason Barrickman yesterday outlined a plan to hand state money to schools based on need. He also wants to end some state mandates, but Barrickman says his plan does not touch property taxes or pension obligations, the most expensive parts of school funding in the state. Jack McCullough's name is finally clear. A judge yesterday now cleared out the 77-year-old man's name tied to a 1957 kidnapping and murder of a 7-year-old Northern Illinois girl. McCullough served just 4 years of a life sentence before evidence showed he was 40 miles away at the time of the girl's death. McCullough says he wants to make sure people no longer think he is a monster. Bulls clinched the final playoff spot in the East, beating the Nets 112-73. Derek Holland took a no-hitter into the 6th inning. White Sox beat the Indians 2-1. Dodgers over the Cubs 2-0 at Wrigley. The news service of Geico Chicago. Hey, Chicago, Geico now has even more ways to save you money. Your local Geico agent is ready to deliver the personal service you need with the savings you love. 773-582-AUTO. 773-582-AUTO for your local Geico agent. 533, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher doesn't understand why Republicans tear each other down.
Why do Republicans act this way? Why can't Republicans embrace the power of unity, the ability to legislate and make change and fulfill the campaign promises of the guy who's at the top of the party and seems determined to do what he said he's going to do?
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Cabela's Fishing Classic, new products, amazing deals. Your one stop before the water. Get 25% off all Rapala tools, lures, and tackle bags in store and online at Cabela's.com.
This is a life-changing message for anyone with sleep apnea who is on the go and tired of dragging around a big, bulky home CPAP device. Now there's finally a portable device that's as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound. You can even add a battery that's as tiny as a deck of cards. It's the Transcend Mini CPAP. And right now, you can try Transcend absolutely risk-free for 10 days. So call now, 1-800-400-9121. Transcend is the world's first portable mini CPAP device. It gives you the freedom to sleep in total comfort anywhere you are. Our smallest and most advanced portable design ever, Transcend is so small and so light, you can fit it in your briefcase or purse to use anywhere you go. It's FAA compliant too, so you can even sleep comfortably while flying. Enjoy the freedom to sleep comfortably anywhere. To receive your 10-day in-home trial, call minicpap.com now. 1-800-400-9121. Again, that's 1-800-400-9121.
It is 5:35. Means it's time to check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. In Summit, Harlem Avenue is closed between 61st Street and 63rd after a fatal collision happened about an hour and a half ago. Again, Harlem Avenue shut down on 61st and 63rd. Tri-State Tollway southbound at 120. There's a right lane closure due to a crash, also affecting the right lane on the ramp from westbound 120 to the southbound Tri-State. That ramp has reopened, but it's still partially blocked. No delays to report on the Edens, Kennedy, or the Eisenhower yet. Inbound Stevenson, heavy starting around Cicero, 36 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound fine at 34. Ryan is 19 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, both 25 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Traffic is a service of the Chicago Office of Emergency Management and Communications. This week is National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. 911 call takers and dispatchers help save lives. Help them help you. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, cloudy. We will have some morning rain and shower in spots in the afternoon if the forecast is right. 54 for a high, 47 overnight, 45 right now. Next news at 6, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella. Heard each and every Sunday at 8 a.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan. And in for Amy this morning is Chicago Tribune columnist John Cass.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, listeners.
Oh, so chipper.
I am.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great.
It's me.
That's
Chipper at 6 a.m.
Your ray of sunshine. Here's the thing. The left's narrative about Russia is kind of falling apart. We got an administration here full of Manchurian candidates for the Ruskies.
I thought it was that Trump was the big kind of cat in Putin's lap as Putin, did his James Bond villain thing.
Well, Rexon met with Putin for a couple of hours yesterday, in addition to his meeting with their foreign minister, Lavrov. And here he had a kind of a brief statement on it, but the point of it was unmistakable. Rexon on that meeting with Putin and what the takeaways are.
Of about 2 hours with President Putin. We frankly discussed the current state of U.S.-Russia relations. I expressed the view that the current state of U.S.-Russia relations is at a low point. There is a low level of trust between our two countries. The world's two foremost nuclear powers cannot have this kind of relationship. We further discussed approaches to improving our channels of communication. We had a lengthy exchange of views regarding the situation in Syria and shared perspectives on possible ways forward.
Yeah, I mean, that's diplomatic talk for we're not on the same page, and the meeting was probably a bit tense at moments. Now, Rexon did also include a description of areas where there is agreement and the possibility to work collaboratively.
We both believe in a unified and stable Syria, and we agree we want to deny a safe haven for terrorists who want to attack both of our countries. We agree that North Korea has to be denuclearized. We agreed there needs to be more senior level communication between our two countries, both at a diplomatic and military level.
Yeah, but they disagree on, and we disagree on a whole host of other things that are material in terms of for example, a stable Syria that doesn't turn the country or chemical weapons over to ISIS and other elements of radical Islamic terror. We don't agree on what that should look like. And it's pretty clear that that's the case, not just because Rexon says so, but also because Russia vetoed a UN resolution on Syria at the Security Council, where you'll recall on the Security Council, every member of the Security Council has veto power, so there's got to be unanimity to move a resolution. 10 states, including the United States, Britain, France, that put together the text of the resolution, voted in favor. China, Ethiopia, Kazakhstan abstained, and Russia, which has veto power, is one of the 5 permanent members of the Security Council. I should make that distinction. The 5 permanent members have the veto power. But anyway, Russia vetoed the resolution, and Putin also addressed the allegations of chemical weapons in Syria, the allegations that Assad was responsible for the chemical attack on his own people last week, saying, this reminds me very much of the events of 2003 when U.S. representatives in the Security Council showed alleged chemical weapons discovered in Iraq. He also said, this is boring, ladies. We've all seen this before.
Well, that's from the 12 chairs that you probably read in undergraduate school?
Yes, Petrov, right? Putin said these developments were happening now because Syria and Russia provide a convenient common enemy to allow a restoration and consolidation of relations among Western countries after many European nations had adopted an anti-Trump position during the election campaign. So he's suggesting, number one...
Might not be all that wrong in that analysis.
Well, he's suggesting a couple things that I do believe are wrong. One, that Assad wasn't responsible for the chemical attacks.
No, I don't. I think that he was responsible, but here's the thing on the Syrian war. I don't want to go there. I don't even know what's going on there, and I don't think a lot of people do. I think that we, just like the business of the United Airlines flight, we're led by emotion. And you on your radio station and this program and me in my column often try to talk about interests colliding. And the idea is you have to look at the interests behind all this. And after I got stampeded in the Iraq War, I guaranteed myself, I promised myself I'd never let it happen again. And I can hear these drums pounding and all this blah, blah, blah around it. I'm just saying, hey, wait a minute. What's going on with Turkey? What about Kurds? What about Sunnis from Saudi Arabia? Why is Saudi our friend now? Don't they export terroristic talk throughout the world in terms of the Wahhabi mosques that they support? All this stuff is, to me, a little bit, has to be answered before I would, if I were president, send one American to blow his legs off in that country.
Well, right, and to be clear, over the last couple of days, you've had some lines drawn in terms of what we are or are not willing to do by both the president as well as James Mattis, the Secretary of Defense. I mean, he said yesterday that in a briefing that, look, the focus is ISIS, eradicating ISIS, and even with the repeated talk about regime change and a stable Syria's future does not include Assad at the head of it, you've had explicitly stated the point that this was a shot across the bow missile strike last week, right? This was not an opening salvo in a long campaign that we're planning, much less boots on the ground, other than the troops that are already deployed
yes,
there.
but once that was done, you saw the Valkyries of our Senate, John McCain and what did Nancy Pelosi call them? Lindsey Graham.
And Marco Rubio.
Marco Rubio talking, they're all for it.
No, I agree that you've got to worry about the neocon contingent that
and on the other side you
bootstraps arguments.
On the other side you have the same group pushing for a widening expansion of NATO on the east. I don't know why. So we can have more tensions with Russia. Why? So we can sell more arms. So those boys in Virginia that really help run things, with those defense contracts, can sell more arms to NATO?
Well,
I just see a lot of this going on at a time that bothers me because it's a switch from what we were told this country was going to do. And everybody's agenda, they all push when they get something like a missile strike. They're all pushing their deal.
Well, on NATO, on the expansion of NATO, with Putin's revanchism, don't you want to include more peaceful pluralist countries in Eastern Europe, Eastern and Central Europe, and send the message to Putin per the basis of the NATO alliance, an attack against one is an attack against all, that you cannot go into the Baltics or other places. You will not have satellites without consequence. Doesn't that make sense?
I think
as a deterrent?
Yes, he has to know that that's said, but then again, Crimea, please. All that business about Crimea. I can't wait to have Victor Davis Hanson on later to talk about that.
Well, Crimea River, John Cass.
The River Don for you, my Cossack friend.
Speaking of the UN, Trump had a good meeting with the UN General Secretary, Jens Stoltenberg from Norway. There's a
Decent
Jens.
soccer.
Jens or Jans? Jens. Is that
I think
Jens
it's
or
Jens.
Jans? Is it Jens?
I haven't read Kick the Horn. What girl with the dragon tattoo for a while? Is that Norway?
Sure, right. It's Norway.
Is that one of them?
So Jens Stoltenberg, the Secretary General of NATO, and Donald Trump met. Montenegro admitted into NATO, as you were referring to, and Donald Trump had to say this about NATO, another reversal of position from President Trump.
The Secretary General and I had a productive discussion about what more NATO can do in the fight against terrorism. I complained about that a long time ago, and they made a change. And now they do fight terrorism. I said it was obsolete. It's no longer obsolete. It's my hope that NATO will take on an increased role in supporting our Iraqi partners in their battle against ISIS. I'm also sending General McMaster to Afghanistan to find out how we can make progress alongside our Afghan partners and NATO allies.
And so the cover story for Trump's reversal is that NATO is expending more resources.
They're paying more of their share.
Right, and those resources are going for counterterrorism efforts, supposedly. It's not specific, but
sounded like he was reading that after Ivanka wrote it for him.
Oh, boy, so mean-spirited. Tom in Deer Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, John. I really appreciate your sentiments. Unfortunately, nothing unites country, liberals and Dems, Republicans, like a good old-fashioned war. And, again, going back to Iraq and so many other endeavors, we don't know what we're doing. Syria is not even a country. If you look on a map, it looks like a country. But as you know, it's not. And so I just appreciate your non-interventionist, cautious sentiments.
Well, listen, Tom, years ago I had a sergeant, a ranger from Chicago. He said, Mr. Cass, can I have a cup of coffee with you? I said, sure. I go downstairs. There he is. We go to the Billy Goat. He goes, do you remember me? And I said, no. He said, you were talking with Don and Roma then.
Mm-hmm.
You were writing a story. I was a young guy. I signed up for Iraq. And he looked at me. And I said, was it worth it? He just gave me a look, like a polite look, good, young, strong, fine soldier. He said, no. I couldn't, it took me a while, it took me a couple days to chill after that.
Thanks for the call, Tom.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Weather? Of course, because today it's mostly cloudy. Morning rain followed by a shower in spots this afternoon, a high of 54. Tonight, mostly cloudy, low of 47. Skip everything else because on Sunday it's supposed to be mostly sunny and breezy, high of 70.
He has risen. That's a nice day.
That's the most important part. And the second most important part is that I can do my lamb outside. Okay? So that's it. Enjoy the weather. Jim Telemonte, tell everybody about the traffic, please.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Dan. Good morning. Southbound Tri-State. We're seeing delays from 21 to 120 Belvedere Road. There is a rollover crash in the right lane, also blocking the right lane on the ramp from westbound 120 to the southbound Tri-State. Summit, Harlem Avenue remains shut down. Northbound 63rd to 59th, southbound 61st to 63rd after a major wreck. The Edens and the Kennedy are fine. Eisenhower 2. Seeing mild delays on the Stevenson starting at Lamont Road, 40 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. The Rhine is 21 minutes, 95th to downtown. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
The secret to how the rich keep getting richer is by passing down their wealth, generation to generation. If you do the same thing, you'll be leaving a legacy and be doing one of the most important things possible for the people you love. The ugly truth is, you don't have an estate plan. Everything you own, including your house, cars, investments, everything could be tied up in courts for a year or longer. It could cost your estate tens of thousands of dollars in probate and legal fees, even double government taxation. You can avoid this painful, costly mistake by contacting Tom Fortino of the Alpha Wealth Group. Tom hosts the Alpha Wealth Hour, heard Saturday mornings at 9 on AM 560, and has been a featured expert on Fox Business, Fortune, and Money Magazine. Right now, Alpha Wealth Group is offering you a free estate planning kit if you call 630-873-6326. That's 630-873-6326. 630-873-6326. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc.
Are your medical bills piling up due to cancer or another serious illness? You are not alone. Many people face this challenge. Here's how Coventry Direct can help. You can receive an immediate cash payment by selling your life insurance policy. If you have $100,000 or more of life insurance, you may be eligible to sell your policy, even a term policy. To find out if you qualify, call Coventry Direct today at 1-800-386-1700 to speak to one of our policy specialists. That's 1-800-386-1700. The cash you receive from selling your policy can be used to help pay medical bills or whatever you choose to give you financial security and peace of mind. Call Coventry Direct at 1-800-386-1700 or visit us at coventrydirect.com. Coventry Direct, giving you the cash you need when you need it most. Coventry Direct is a marketing company and will refer qualified policies to a licensed entity.
How would you like to lose 10, 15, even 25 pounds in the next 30 days? Well, I'm about to tell you how you can do it for free right now. You've probably heard of Beachbody or seen their workout DVDs on TV like P90X, Insanity, and 21 Day Fix. Well, they just launched a beta trial of their new online video service called Beachbody On Demand, and they're inviting you to use it for free for 30 days. Now, here's the catch. In return, all they want is for you to let them know what you think of their new on-demand service so they can make it the best fitness and weight loss site ever created. Just text the word STREAM to 303030 and you can do 30 days of P90X, Insanity, Brazil Butt Lift, or one of 500 other Beachbody workouts for free. And that means you can lose 10, 20, even 30 pounds without paying a dime. Just text STREAM to 303030. That's STREAM to 303030 to get started for free right now.
Message and data rates may apply. Membership fees apply after 30-day free trial. Cancel anytime.
Christianity arose out of first-century Judaism. The earliest Jewish believers in Jerusalem, however, would have trouble recognizing modern, traditional Christianity as its offspring. In a new book entitled Reviving the Reformation, a Jewish believer peers backward to move biblical truth forward. Author Daniel Lang attempts to recover the real first-century Messianic faith that's been lost to the modern world. Reviving the Reformation explains why the man Yeshua, Jesus, satisfies the expectations of the Messianic hope and describes the ideal relationship that should occur between Jews and Gentiles who seek out the same biblical God. It reestablishes the Torah as the instruction manual for righteous living and probes the doctrine of the Trinity. With biblical faith fading fast in Western culture, now is the time to restore the truth by reviving the Reformation. For information about this important new book, go to revivingthereformation.com. That's revivingthereformation.com.
Oh, this roof is so needy.
Call Crumweedy.
How do you spell that?
K-R-U-M-W.
Oh, just go to myroofisneedy.com.
If your roof is needy, call Crumweedy. This is Greg Olson of Crumweedy.
And I'm Mark Olson from Crumweedy. We are a third-generation family-run business, and we have been doing Chicagoland roofs since 1953.
You can't do that unless you do really great roofs. We share the same conservative values as you, and we want to do your roof. Here's what you can expect.
First, no high pressure. You make the choice. Whatever option you choose, count on getting a roof that lasts at a fair price.
You see, application is the key. We follow the manufacturer's specifications so your warranty is intact. A lot of companies don't do that, and that could void your warranty.
Our installation is outstanding. No horror stories here. The roof you need that will fix your problems. When your roof is needy,
call Crumweedy.
Go to myroofisneedy.com. myroofisneedy.com.
For half a century, Schrenk's Smoke & Gun has been the firearms store generations of customers trust. Stop in during the month of April and save 10% on an AR, plus receive a free box of ammo. Check out over 700 firearms in stock, including a huge selection of AR rifles from LWRC, Smith & Wesson, Civilian Force Arms made in Illinois, and more. Schrenk's has Lake County's largest selection of new, used, and consignment pistols, rifles, shotguns, and every kind of ammo you'll need. Plus collectibles, older functioning hunting rifles, and full gunsmith services. Don't forget, during the month of April, save 10% on store-owned ARs and receive a free box of ammo. And as always, cigar lovers, you'll find your favorites at Schrenk's. Drive north to avoid the Cook County taxes. Visit smoke_gun.org or call 847-662-4034. Schrenk's Smoke & Gun in Waukegan, your family-owned gun store since 1964.
847-926-0700. This number can bring thousands of extra dollars right to your pocket. The Art House Gallery is back in Chicago. Do you have any jewelry or diamonds, silver, or antiques, paintings, porcelain, Fabergé, high-end pocket or wristlet watches, Rolex, Patek Philippe, IWC, Cartier, Tiffany, or Breitling? If you do, call the Art House Gallery now at 847-926-0700 and get your cash today. Meet in their office in Highland Park or in the privacy of your own own
thing on
home
your
or
mind.
bank.
The fact
Call now,
is, the older you get, the more likely you'll have prostate
847-926-0700.
problems, which can affect your everyday life. That's where Prostate Complete by Real Health comes in. Prostate Complete is the result of 20 years of experience as a leader in men's health. The powerful formula in Prostate Complete supports natural prostate function and reduced urinary urges for a better quality of life. Available at Walmart. Visit prostateoneperday.com for special offers. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
5:57. Let's get an update on your Chicago traffic this morning in our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the southbound tri-state, it is stop and go from Washington Street to 120 Belvedere Road. There's a crash there in the right lane. Edens is fine. Kennedy inbound, heavy out of the River Road toll to Canfield. 24 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 20. Inbound Eisenhower, slow Wolf to Harlem. 35 minutes, Thorndale to the post office downtown. Outbound 31. Inbound Stevenson now 42 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan 24 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, 28 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop 425. Traffic is the service of Staples. HP Savings Month at Staples means big savings on great HP products all month long. Right now, get up to $180 off select quality HP printers. Ends 4/15, restrictions apply. See staples.com/HP month for details. Staples, traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues after a full update from Fox News. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Mostly cloudy skies throughout the day and night. Periods of morning rain followed by an afternoon shower in spots with a high 54, low tonight 47. A shower or a thunderstorm in the area tomorrow with a high 69. Then showers in the evening followed by a late night shower in spots tomorrow night, low 61. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 47 at O'Hare. The news, a service of Accountemps. Accountemps, leading the temporary staffing agency for accounting, financing, and bookkeeping professionals. In fact, 9 out of 10 of their customers would recommend them to a colleague. Call them today or visit accountemps.com to learn more. Accountemps is a Robert Half company. At 5:59, here are the stories we're following on AM 560, The Answer. One man is facing murder and other charges in the shooting death of Cook County Judge Raymond Miles. 2 North Suburban Zion men are accused of trying to help ISIS. Joseph Jones and Edward Schimenti were arrested yesterday morning on charges of conspiring to provide material support and resources to the terror group. Bulls clinched the final playoff spot in the East with a win over the Nets. White Sox beat the Indians 2-1. Cubs fell to the Dodgers 2-0, and the Blackhawks and Predators meet in Game 1 of their Stanley Cup playoff series. WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lisa Brady. Where do we go from here?
We may be at an all-time low in terms of relationship with Russia.
President Trump, just hours after Secretary of State Rex Tillerson wrapped up meetings in Moscow yesterday, touching on a number of tense issues. Fox Radio's Rachel Sutherland, live in Washington.
Lisa, during a White House news conference with NATO Secretary General, President Trump said it would be wonderful if the U.S. and Russia could get along, and sounded cautiously optimistic after Secretary of State Rex Tillerson's meeting with President Vladimir Putin.
We'll see the end result, which will be in a long period of time, perhaps. But the end result is what's most important, not just talk.
Tensions have flared since the U.S. launched missile strikes against Syria's Assad regime, Russia's ally, in response to a chemical weapons attack. Lisa.
Thanks, Rachel. The Kremlin calling for an unbiased investigation. U.S. Ambassador Nikki Haley, meantime, keeping up the pressure at the UN.
We want Russia to use its influence over the Assad regime to stop the madness and the cruelty we see every day on the ground.
But Russia blocked a resolution condemning the Syrian regime for chemical weapons use while Tillerson was still in Moscow. United Airlines is now compensating all of the passengers on the flight with the doctor who was dragged off the plane. The doctor's family and lawyers set to hold a news conference. They've already filed motions to preserve documents, including the records of officers involved.
Earlier this week, one of those aviation officers was placed on leave. Well, now the other 2 that you see in that video
have also been placed on leave. And the alderman here in Chicago wants some answers from the aviation department.
Anita Padilla, a Fox affiliate WFLD in Chicago. United has already launched a review of its overbooking policies. The two women accused in the poisoning death of the estranged half-brother of North Korea's ruler appearing in court in Malaysia, their attorneys say police still haven't given them security camera footage. Fair and balanced.
Do you own or run a business in Illinois that succeeded in this challenging economic environment? If so, we want to hear about it. AM 560's Business Tour 2017, presented by Signature Bank, will be highlighting business success stories. Tell us your story and be a part of a live broadcast of Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy. Find out more and submit your information at 560theanswer.com/business. That's 560theanswer.com/business.
Men, if you're like me, you appreciate the feeling of a smooth, clean shave. But you're tired of paying $32 for new blades. Stop messing around with those generic razors and start shaving with Harry's for half the price. Harry's is so confident in the quality of their blades, they'll send you their most popular shave set, shaving cream, and post-shave balm for free when you cover shipping, a total value of $20. Just go to harrys.com now and enter code 1137 at checkout to redeem your shave set. That's harrys.com, code 1137.
5 times more hires are made through Indeed.com than any other job site, according to independent research. Imagine a lottery that had 5 times more winners, or a Sunday with 5 times more touchdowns. When you're hiring, it makes 5 times more sense to use Indeed. Right now, we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job on the world's #1 job site. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
This hourly segment is sponsored by Wine Time Radio. Every Saturday at 5 p.m. on AM 560, explore the wonderful world of wine with host James Crooker and Rob Lehner.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan, and in for Amy this morning is Chicago Tribune columnist John Cass. What's the podcast again?
The podcast is called The Chicago Way.
Chicago Way.
You can find it on WGN.
Yeah, okay.
And we talk about stuff without commercials.
Yeah, I've been on it before. It's fun.
You've been on, and you've been very guarded. You were very guarded. I couldn't get anything like doing my Barbara Walters thing, trying to get the personal.
Oh, yeah. The soft lighting didn't work either.
Even Kristen McQuarrie didn't work. I thought she could draw you out.
No.
And then you get me to say something revolutionary, and you tweeted it.
Yeah. That's right. The tweet, in case you didn't see it, John Cass said on these airwaves, I can roll back the tape if you want, that you have not spoken with Eric Zorn in 18 years. And my response, of course, is why would you?
There's not much to talk about.
Well, unless you want to hear terrible folk music or something.
Well, I don't know. I kind of like folk music. 12-string guitar, peanuts on the floor. Oh, yeah.
Good folk music. Yeah. Peter, Paul, and Mary. Not Zorn.
I don't know about Peter, Paul, and Mary, but yes.
Joan Baez.
Jacques Brel.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Hey, look, speaking of the Chicago Way, I want to get to this election. This is not an election for the general public, but it impacts the general public. This is the election yesterday for the president of Chicago Fraternal Order Police. And we've had the now outgoing president on this show a number of times, Dean Angelo Sr. He lost his reelection yesterday. And it's rather stunning to me. I mean, based on the accounts, it seemed like Dean had some sense that it wouldn't go particularly well yesterday. But to me, this turns out to be a really important election. One, because of the position over 12,000 Chicago police officers, or round numbers about that. Number two is because of the individual who has been deposed, who I find through getting to know him over the last couple of years. And you can make your own decisions. Go to morninganswerchicago.com. You can listen to previous interviews. Go to upstream-ideas.com. He sat down for a expansive 45-minute discussion with me in our Against the Current series at upstream-ideas.com, I found him to be measured and thoughtful and, frankly, the best civic leader in the city of Chicago at present. And I think, and this is not really a comment on Mr. Graham, who is the incoming FOP president now, because I don't know him.
So you're not going to talk about the cabin in Lincolnshire?
Well, we can talk about that. I don't know him, but then
Right.
I don't have a handle on what kind of leader he's going to make. So this is about Dean Angelo. One of the laws of the public policy process, per Morton Blackwell, don't get angry except on purpose. And I think there's a lot of Chicago police officers who got angry not on purpose and are going to regret the misdirected ire that led to the departure of Dean Angelo, that informed their votes and ousted Dean Angelo. I think it's a big mistake, and unless Graham lives up to the advanced billing from some of his supporters, there'll just be a new low in terms of police morale.
I don't know him either. I hear he's patrol officer. Cops call me and say he's a good guy. I kind of like Dean Angelo. I didn't get involved in this election.
Nor did I.
And in some ways, the media in general, including Dan Proft and John Cass, we have to realize that part of covering Chicago is covering union elections in the city of Chicago.
Well, I mean, 9,800 votes cast, 9,800 police officers weighing in on the leader in the city with one of the worst violent crime rates in the Western world. This turns out to be a really important election, and the posture they'll take against Tiny Dancer and against the politicization of the police, the scapegoating of the police. Look, I think on this show, and of course for you many years before I had this show, or even previous show, I think I've established that I have tremendous respect for police officers.
Me too.
Yeah, and as you have, right. But but that doesn't mean every decision is flawless.
No.
Doesn't mean I'm going along with every decision. And
Doesn't mean that a cop who shoots a 96-year-old man 5 times with a beanbag should walk, which one did.
Well,
that was in the suburbs.
In Park Forest, right? But I mean, I'm just baffled by this city. I mean, it is so difficult for us to identify and elevate talented, thoughtful people providing adult leadership. And then when they provide adult leadership, they get turned out. And by the way, from what I understand, I don't know what you've heard talking to various Chicago police officers, but one of the issues that led to Angelo's ouster was over benefits and benefit levels.
Yeah.
That retirees were upset because they were going to have to pay a little bit more for their health insurance. I mean, look, I know Chicago police officers live in the real world. They live in a world that's more real than most of us want to admit on a daily basis. But some of them, like some public sector union members of, that are otherwise affiliated with other public sector unions, do not live in the real world when it comes to the financial realities of salaries, pensions, and benefits. And I know most people won't take this issue on because they're afraid of drawing rebuke from police officers that have a lot more standing in the community than do politicians or radio talk show hosts, and I understand that. But math is math. You have, and this is something we talked to young to middle-aged police officers the same way we talked about young and middle-aged teachers. You think it's going to be there? Are you relying on your pension and benefits? Because when you have a pension system for Chicago police officers that is less than 30% funded, I'd make contingency plans. You think Tiny Dancer, who's been scapegoating you for the last 6 years, is looking out for your best interests? And so when the conversation is about how do we pull the pension fund out of a death spiral, which is where it is right now, and that also includes a discussion of unfunded health care benefits, and you're talking about paying an increment more retirees as part of, ideally, a larger plan to salvage these pension funds, police specifically, but we could talk about almost any of the pension funds in the city or the state that are similarly situated. Do you believe the math is real or not?
There's another issue too, though, Dan, and it's not just clearly what you're saying is absolutely correct, and I think that everybody who works for government should figure out what kind of hot sauce they want on their dry dog food when they're rolled, because that's what's going to happen.
But it's one of those things, John. It seems to me that there's a contingent of people that will not believe what we're saying until it comes to pass. So these people are running.
And you know what's going to happen then?
Well, they're sprinting to the precipice, and they won't believe that they're going to run off the edge until they're off the edge.
Why didn't you tell us, Cass? Why didn't you tell us, Prof? Damn it.
Right.
Yeah, but okay, here's another issue, though, besides that. And that is the posture of media and politics towards cops over the past few years. I'd say you could call it the Ferguson effect. You can call it whatever you want to call it. Police feel under siege, and they want a guy to slug away at the media and at Rahm, and so they chose not a professorial, thoughtful person. They want more confrontation. At least that's how Graham presented himself in this election. Whether or not that'll continue,
perhaps. But I mean, if you heard Dean Angelo on this show talking about that Star Chamber report that Lori Lightfoot and the gang put together at the behest of Tiny Dancer, or the cooked Department of Justice report that Loretta Lynch came to town to present, which was just a cut and paste job of the Lori Lightfoot report, and then this was,
it was all BS.
Well, right, and Loretta Lynch launching Rahm's reelection campaign in so doing, presenting that report. When we talked about Dean Angelo about both of those reports, he wasn't rolling over on those issues.
I didn't say he was.
No, I know. I'm just saying. He would. This idea. Does he have to scream to make a point, or can he just make a point at room temperature but forcefully? Because that's what he did in response to those reports. I mean, Dean Angelo was no pushover. If you want somebody to scream more, I mean, I guess. But you think that's going to accomplish something, or is it just going to be cathartic for you?
I think the problem, there's a larger problem, is that we have to acknowledge that feeling, that ethos in the police department. They're asked to do too much, and there's not enough people. And Rahm has been playing games with the police manpower, and he's throwing cops under the bus to protect his own butt. And I'll give you the classic example. Laquan McDonald video that he sat on for a year so he could get through reelection. There were 7 cops that were involved in the alleged cover-up later. Those cops were left on the street to make arrests. I should do a column on it rather than talk about it, but let's talk about it. 7 cops left on the street. They made arrests. Do you think that there are defense lawyers who are going to find out exactly what arrests were made by cops who were under investigation in that alleged cover-up thing? Because that's going to cost the city even more money. All that stuff is a game that Rahm has been playing. The cops and the people are in the middle of it.
Right, and so I guess my point is to say there's 12,000 police officers in the city. The challenge, it seems to me, in this city and state is to revolt the way that our Midwestern neighbors have done. Revolt against the establishment.
Stockholm syndrome here, man.
Well, I know. Well, that's my point. So I guess the question is, do you want adult leadership in the city or not? Do you? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636-DA, turnkey.pro text line. And I mean that's specifically for Chicago police officers. I know what the answer is in certain other contingencies. I'm not talking about Champagne socialists on the lakefront. I know they don't want adult leadership. I got that. Message received. But police officers on the front lines, firefighters on the front lines, there's a lot of them. Yeah, the kind of political power that rank and file police and fire have, and I'm not just talking about in the 41st Ward. I'm talking about throughout the city, if they organize to say, what is the fundamental problem? Is it our union leadership, or is it our civilian political leadership? Is it the 50 trained SEALs on the city council and the tiny dancer standing at the, well, not a step stool, at the dais? I mean, which is it? Because it seems to me very much like we do as a general electorate What the police officers did yesterday was address a symptom because they're not down with addressing the problem. You know, the fundamental problem.
Well, what is that? Define it.
It's just what I define, the civilian political leadership of the city. That has to be deposed. That nothing will change. And to your point, you're thinking about your retirement. You may have to rethink what that's going to look like if you don't change out the civilian political leadership of the city of Chicago. And it goes for the state too, but we're talking about Chicago.
Also, another thing, every so often, there are promotion tests that are taking place, and they're always political. I remember lieutenant's exams in the fire department getting lost. Lost. They just got lost because Daley didn't like the number. He didn't like the number of white guys who did well. I mean, every year there's something like this coming from City Hall. So the guys, men and women of the first responders are just, I guess they're just beaten down. And then you wonder why.
Mike on the north side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for taking my call. You guys are dancing around the edges of the issue. Nobody wants to say what's really happening. What's really happening is the police are pissed off. 3 reasons. The promotional tests have been rigged for the last 15 years, and it's getting worse. The last promotional test to lieutenant, the boss's kids, or not the boss's kids, the boss's girlfriends got the top 3 spots when they never passed tests to sergeants or detectives, and they had to get promoted via merit promotions. Number 2, every boss that saw the LaQuad McDonald's video was chased out, who saw it and okayed it, except for one, Eddie Johnson. Why did he get a pass? And 3, we don't have 12,000 police officers. Right. We got 8. The city did a layoff by attrition. As guys retired, they didn't replace them. We do not have enough police officers to protect the city, and they're burnt out. Nobody in the press goes all the way and
those are good points.
Well, but Dean Angelo has talked about the need for more police, 2,000 more police, 3,000 more police. So that was not an issue in controversy because you had agreement. And in terms of kind of the internal politics of promotions, okay, and then the third point
that's a big one.
Well,
okay. And the third point, manpower. Look, in 18, I talked to coppers in the 18 a few weeks ago. There were 3 cars working in the afternoon in 18, where all the yuppies have to be protected by, on their bikes.
So
and rich people. That is
so the resource issue. The manpower issue. So the resources to provide for the manpower. Where does that reside? The authority. The civilian political leadership of the city. So how am I dancing around that issue?
And also the test issue, the fact that there are questions about whose girlfriend did well, 3 girlfriends did well, or 3 wives or spouses or girlfriends did well on the promotion test. That eats at people.
I understand.
That eats at guys because they're in a blue shirt and they're stuck in a blue shirt and they want to get a little bit of a raise to help their family, and they can't get up.
Laquan McDonald is the third. That was the third issue, and the unequal treatment with respect to...
I don't know what Dean was supposed to do about it.
Well, here's what Dean did do. He took heat by putting Jason Van Dyke to work while he awaits trial. He gave him a job at FOP, and then that was discovered, and then he took heat for that, and I think he was trying to help Van Dyke's wife, too. She was trying to get on the Cook County Sheriff's Department, too, and had passed, I guess, the requisite testing. And, of course, because she's too politically hot to handle, that hasn't happened. But so again, in terms of these issues, how does making this change address any of the underlying issues that, number 1, reside with the political civilian leadership, number 2, were addressed by Dean Angelo in terms of kind of the racial quota system? Where does that come from as well? Where's that coming from? Is that coming from Dean Angelo, or is it coming from the 5th floor? And where are rank and file police officers stepping up and putting pressure on their duly elected feudal lords, members of the media, I mean, come on. This kind of like we're all victims. I understand the police are being scapegoated. I understand the police are being treated badly, which is why we provide the alternate perspective you're not going to get in the Chicago Press Corps here, and we give voice to that.
Wait a minute.
But you need those individuals to step up too. Nobody can do the lift for you. You need to be an active participant. Isn't that fair?
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Well, today in the forecast, it's mostly cloudy. Morning rain followed by a shower in spots this afternoon with a high of 54. And tonight, mostly cloudy, low of 47. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy and warmer with a shower of thunderstorms in the area, a high of 69. And on Sunday, partly to mostly cloudy, or partly to mostly sunny and breezy, high of 70, Easter Sunday. Now for the traffic, Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, John. Good morning. Good morning, Dan. Well, police have been busy dealing with crashes this morning. The roads are wet. Allow safe following distance. Beach Park, southbound Sheridan Road. There's a 3-car crash south of Blanchard. And Summit Harlem Avenue remains shut down. Northbound 63rd to 59th. Southbound 61st to 63rd after a nasty wreck. Southbound Tri-State, stop and go from Washington to 120 Belvedere Road. Right lane's blocked there with a rollover crash. The northbound Tri-State has delays from 87th to the Mile-Long Bridge and the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. Eden's 21 minutes, like Cook to Montrose, outbound 20. The Kennedy 23 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound still okay. The Eisenhower's 48 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, outbound 32. Stevenson 55 minutes, 3:55 to the Drive. The Ryan 27 minutes, 95th to downtown. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I love the product. I think I've been feeling great.
Just feel so energetic. Just amazing.
My cholesterol readings have never been better.
Balance of Nature has been consistent and has changed my life. I love the product. It's really helped me.
I don't need my cane anymore. My knee doesn't hurt. I was afraid every day to wake up for fear it's going to hurt, but it hasn't hurt since.
Since I'm taking this stuff, it really is absolutely great. I mean, I'm digesting better. I have better appetite. You know, it's just worked miracles.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
You have a wonderful company. I love my Balance of Nature. My whole life is so much better.
Napa know-how.
Why buy the dual cam sports action and dash camera from Napa for $69.99? Because it's the only dash cam that's also an everything else cam. So you can record yourself being safe on the road or attach it to your helmet for dirt biking off-road. Because like this camera, you're a double threat. The dual cam sports action and dash camera for only $69.99. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Offer expires 4/30/17.
Hello, human. It's me, your dog. I know your car battery died, so you couldn't make it home on time, but I just wanted to let you know that everything is A-okay. I made you a couple presents. You know, the kind you pick up in a plastic bag? Yeah, I put one right on your pillow. I figured that'd be the best place for you to find it. Also, the couch needed a little shredding, so I took care of that, too. Also, I ate the mail. Who's a good boy? I am.
Make sure you'll be there. Get a car battery test today. Find a location at interstatebatteries.com. Interstate Batteries. Outrageously dependable.
AM 560. The Answer.
Let not your heart be troubled. Listen to me, Sean Hannity. I'll have the latest news and what it all means for you. It's coming up at 2 right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan, and in for Amy this morning, Chicago Tribune columnist John Cass. A couple other local stories of note, John, just because it won't be covered properly by the Chicago Press Corps, which you're...
I might do it.
You're the skunk at the garden party in that group.
There's a few of us. There's 3 of us that meet in a tiny cell, so we won't be discovered.
I know who one of the 2 is. I'm not sure I know the third.
Well, I can't say, but now that you've started a Twitter war with me and the liberals over there, I guess I'll be out. I'll be fired tomorrow.
It's about time somebody else had a Twitter war besides me with the Chicago Press Corps, the deep thinkers like Mark Sapelsa. Here's the one of the stories. Cook County Judge Jessica Arong O'Brien charged with
Good
one
one.
count of mail fraud affecting a financial institution, one count of bank fraud, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office in Chicago. The esteemed Judge O'Brien,
first Filipina.
Yeah. A Democrat and a Democrat-favored daughter. That I didn't see that in the Sun-Times account, her political affiliation, or how she became a circuit court judge.
I'm a loyal Democrat, Mr. Madigan. Make me a judge.
The interesting thing is, with respect to her, too, she's being arraigned before Judge Sheila Finnegan, U.S. magistrate, also a political appointee. She also given birth to by the Chicago Democrat panjan drums that control the courts, your Mike Madigans and your Ed Burks.
And just because Dick Durbin can appoint judges, federal judges, don't worry about it, okay?
Don't worry about Saca Durbin appointing judges.
I mean, right?
No,
51 votes. Let's ram him in there.
That's
what he and Harry Reid did.
He is an esteemed member of the United States Senate, is he not? Is he?
I always thought of him more like a bullhead, like you catch it like in the Saguenay-Ishki Slough.
Just to give you an understanding of this, I just want to go back to Sheila Finnegan. Miss Judge, soon-to-be former Judge O'Brien, Jessica O'Brien, she was on the committee that handpicked Judge Sheila Finnegan to be the magistrate, to get that appointment.
Would Dan Proft sit in judgment over John Cass, or would you
Happily.
recuse yourself saying, I can't do it, he's the only, I can't do it?
I'd torquemada John Cass if I had the opportunity.
You?
No, but it's just it's nice. So she's being arraigned before a judge.
That she made.
Or helped make, yeah.
Right.
She was on the committee. Yeah.
Mhm.
After she was made by the same people that make everybody, Ed Burke and Mike Madigan, and we pretend that the courts are independent in Cook County. Whew. Hilarious. Here's another one. I know we're focused on the Chicago Department of Aviation and United Airlines. That's the biggest threat to civilization in Chicago.
There's a video.
I know. There's no video of this, but two Zion men were arrested by the FBI, Edward Scamenti and Joseph Jones.
You're not using their revolutionary names.
No, I'm not. The 35-year-olds from Zion arrested yesterday morning by the FBI, charged with conspiring to provide material support to the Islamic State, ISIS. Here's a fun little note. Clyde McLemore, chair of the Lake County chapter of Black Lives Matter, said Scamenti once joined a protest outside the Zion Police Department organized to denounce a police-involved shooting. He said he wanted to blow up the police department in retaliation, McLemore said. We had to take the bullhorn away from him at that point. Sure, because we're allowed to think it and talk about it amongst ourselves, but we're not. We don't want it to be broadcast through a bullhorn outside the police
Everyone
station.
will know.
Exactly.
There was also a woman from St. Charles, Illinois, just today, or yesterday, or the day before, in Halifax, Nova Scotia, wanting to bomb the mall in Halifax. Yeah. What's going on?
These Lake County men wanted to, then they were identified by FBI undercover. They wanted to obtain cell phones to use as detonators, and they were looking to get this undercover Fed overseas to carry out to get trained and then be prepared to engage in terrorist activity. Here's something else about Scamenti. Fantasized about how under Islamic law they could put gay people on top of the Sears Tower and we drop you, according to the feds. And one other thing about Mr. Scamenti, menace to society for a long time. Spent a year in jail from 2007 to 2008. He had been arrested 13 times since 1999. Drug possession, robbery, battery, criminal trespass, DUI.
Good citizen.
So radicalization in jail, perhaps? Radicalization because you're marginalized from society, because you're a menace to it?
But if there are only opportunities, then he wouldn't be evil. Right, Dan?
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing, independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
The success of a mid-sized business often comes down to one thing: managing your cash flow. I'm Ann Dollagall, Treasury Management Executive at Signature Bank. At Signature Bank, we take a personalized and proactive approach to structuring your cash management solutions to keep your financial assets safe and working for you. Our automated accounts receivable and accounts payable technology allows your business to grow without adding to your overhead expenses. And what truly sets Signature Bank apart is our personal approach. We get to know your business by rolling up our sleeves to work alongside you. Call me today for a review of your company's operational challenges.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. School year is rapidly coming to an end, and maybe you're looking back at this past year and you aren't too happy with your child's school experience. Well, now's the perfect time to start thinking about doing something different this fall. Don't send your child back to a school that just isn't working for you. Start thinking about sending your child to a private school at half the regular price, thanks to halfpriceschools.com. At halfpriceschools.com, you find local private schools from throughout Chicagoland that are offering vouchers for a full year of tuition at half the price with no catch. Find a school near you, purchase a tuition voucher, and prepare to send your child off to school this fall. It's that simple. HalfPriceSchools.com has schools all across Chicagoland, including schools in South Holland, Arlington Heights, Antioch, Waukegan, Westchester, Oak Lawn, Romeoville, Aurora, Mount Prospect. Make private school affordable for your family for the first time this year. These vouchers will sell out. Visit HalfPriceSchools.com today. That's HalfPriceSchools.com.
AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up at 6:36, we'll talk to Tufts University law professor Daniel Dresner about his new book, The Ideas Industry, and the rising importance of think tanks in public policy. But now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
Dan, good morning. 45 degrees, cloudy skies. We've had some rain this morning. This morning, President Trump says U.S. relations with Russia may be at an all-time low. Tensions between the U.S. and Russia have risen since last week's chemical weapons attack in Syria and a U.S. missile strike in retaliation. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell saying the president had all the authority he needed when he ordered a U.S. missile strike on that Syrian airfield.
It was also, because of the assertiveness of the act, an interesting message to a lot of our adversaries around the world and our allies around the world that this administration is going to be more assertive than the previous one.
A passenger dragged off a United Airlines flight, signaling that his lawyers will sue the airline. David Dow filed a bill of discovery yesterday. The Supreme Court finally returns to full strength today. After working shorthanded for more than 1 year, Justice Neil Gorsuch will join his 8 new colleagues today. Canada is apparently on its way to formally legalizing marijuana. Government of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau will unveil legislation today that legalizes recreational marijuana use throughout that country. Rolling Stone magazine and a former University of Virginia administrator are settling a lawsuit over a widely discredited article about gang rape accusations at the university. The agreement comes after a jury ruled last November that Rolling Stone and the author defamed former UVA Associate Dean Nicole Iramo. One man faces murder charges, and other charges are also stacking up in the death of Cook County Judge Raymond Miles. Police say Joshua Smith has been charged with first-degree murder, attempted murder, aggravated battery with a firearm, and armed robbery. National Park Service closing a third beach along the Indiana Dunes National Lakeshore following a nearby toxic wastewater spill. Park Service Wednesday closed Cowles Bog Beach based on a recommendation that all beaches within 3 miles of that spill site be closed as a precaution. Chicago sports. Bulls clinched the final playoff spot in the East, blasting the Nets 112-73 last night. Derek Holland and the White Sox beat the Indians 2-1. Dodgers staff did in the Cubs in a 2-0 win. And the Blackhawks and Predators start the Stanley Cup playoffs round 1 action tonight at the UC. The news, a service of Staples. HP Savings Month at Staples means big savings on great HP products all month long. Right now, get up to $180 off select quality HP printers. Ends 4/15. Restrictions apply. See staples.com/HP month for details. Staples. 6:36 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager sees the pressure of bigger and bigger government.
It sucks the oxygen out of civic life. It sucks the oxygen out of moral life because people in America took care of other people. In Europe, they don't take care of each other because they know the government will take care of their neighbor. It is one of the biggest moral consequences of bigger and bigger government.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, best beans, best roast, best coffee.
For half a century, Schrenk's Smoke & Gun has been the firearms store generations of customers trust. Stop in during the month of April and save 10% on an AR, plus receive a free box of ammo. Check out over 700 firearms in stock, including a huge selection of AR rifles from LWRC, Smith & Wesson, Civilian Force Arms made in Illinois, and more. Schrenk's has Lake County's largest selection of new, used, and consignment pistols, rifles, shotguns, and every kind of ammo you'll need. Plus collectibles, older functioning hunting rifles, and full gunsmith services. Don't forget, during the month of April, save 10% on store-owned ARs and receive a free box of ammo. And as always, cigar lovers, you'll find your favorites at Schrenk's. Drive north to avoid the Cook County taxes. Visit smoketheletterN.gun.org or call 847-662-4034. Schrenk's Smoke & Gun in Waukegan, your family-owned gun store since 1964.
6:38 and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Southbound Tri-State stop and go Washington to 120 with a rollover crash in the right lane. Northbound Tri-State delays are from 115th now to 31st and very heavy from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue curve. Eden's 25 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 22. Kennedy 39 minutes, O'Hare to downtown outbound 26. The Eisenhower 49 minutes, Thorndale to the Loop outbound 33. Stevenson an hour and 3 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive outbound 38 minutes. Ryan 27 minutes, 95th to downtown. Traffic service for Staples. Staples has everything you need for your business at low prices, like paper, ink, and toner, even office furniture and technology. Right now, 10 ream cases of Staples multi-purpose paper are $19.99. In-store only, limit 2 plus tax where applicable. Ends 4/15. See store or staples.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, cloudy, morning rain, followed by a spotty afternoon shower. High 54, clouds, and 47 overnight. Currently 47 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Advanced Planning Advisors, bringing you Smart Money Talk with Mike Moylan and Rob Curvin, Saturday mornings at 6.
Your money. Find out how to keep more of it and live debt-free. Tonight on The Dave Ramsey Show, starting at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan, and in for Amy this morning is Chicago Tribune columnist John Cass. And John, I want you to weigh in on the United Airlines flap because every God-fearing American has to make their opinion known on this topic and has to make it known repeatedly.
I came to the party late, Dan. I was busy covering a homicide on the south side, and then I had my Lamb thing. And
well, I mean, a judge got murdered.
Yeah, that was what I was covering.
Right.
Judge got murdered on the same day that the video came out, and I came late to the party. I'm kind of like that last slow zombie that I wrote about. The last slow zombie in the zombie movies, you know. Everyone else took a chunk out of United Airlines CEO, and there's nothing left for me.
Well, there's an update to the story. Yesterday, the Chicago Department of Aviation suspended 2 more aviation security police officers involved in the dragging off of little girl David Dow, the doctor.
Well,
cough, cough.
Doesn't
and
matter
I mean,
what.
And I mean,
come on, man. It doesn't matter what.
The doctor cough, cough, and I mean that because he likes general exams, even though that's not his area of expertise.
It doesn't really matter, does it? It could have been anybody. It could have been Dan Proft. It could have been John Castle. They're trying to get me out of a seat once I'm wedged in there is going to be tough.
Yeah, I understand that the individual's background is irrelevant to the incident.
It's irrelevant.
And I understand that the officers and United personnel had no idea what his background is. I understand all that. So stipulated.
Because if you were
if
you were a Republican, then we'd have to know.
Well, but
come on.
The point is that it just adds texture to the story. It is interesting to know about this individual, particularly since he'll soon be a litigant. So it's just interesting to know the background.
Do you really think that this is going to trial?
No, United.
I wish it were, though. I love the
United is bailing water. They're trying to get $1.5 billion in market cap back that they lost this week. I get it.
Over a video.
2 more of those aviation cops suspended, though, so they're going to be the scapegoats. Also, this interesting tidbit, the guy in the plane who filmed the cell phone video that's been seen by every person in the world with a phone or a computer, Tyler Bridges, said this: "It's clearly the man's fault that security had to drag him off. He was resisting. I don't blame the security guards at all." Well, that's what separates the common sense average citizen from the political class who need scapegoats to insulate themselves. And frankly, C-suite corporate execs, too, at United.
I've never seen a congressman or a top media personality ever clout their way in an airport. That would never happen.
No, of course not.
Right.
Clearly the man's fault that security had to drag him off, said Tyler Bridges. I blame United, though, for this situation, for getting to the point where the man was arguing with security. And Bridges also suggested that a manager for United addressed the passengers in an quote-unquote authoritarian manner and said the flight would not leave unless 4 people got off the plane.
That's the guy I want.
He was not happy with how that United manager addressed the
like he was talking
passengers.
to 4th graders. You will not have recess unless 4 of you, decide to clean the lunchroom now.
And in addition to that, you've got United now continuing to bail water. They are offering refunds to all of the passengers that were on that flight.
Really? Including the woman who screamed, "Oh, my God," 7 times? That was the thing that the "oh, my God" thing and seeing the guy's belly as he was dragged out, those are 2 of the most, riveting. You know what?
What about this blood-curdling exclamation?
Yeah, it sounds like, I don't know.
It sounds like he was caught in the gears of a combine rather than somebody grabbing his arm and trying to pull him out of his seat since he was so resistant.
And then he kept repeating, "I have to go home, I have to go home, I have to go home." That was also weird. I don't know why he had to go home. Were the patients waiting?
I have to go home.
Well,
I have to go home.
They was just shocked.
To go home.
He has to go home because that's where he lives. Yeah. Here's the thing.
The cops, though, Dan, those poor cops. If they didn't pull the guy out right of the seat, then Mr. Officious bureaucrat who told everybody what was the deal, he would have had their heads.
Well, right.
Now their heads are given up anyway by Rahm.
I mean, the security officers that visited and reaccommodated Mr. Dow
sounds like a lawyer.
They didn't break into the plane and identify Mr. Dow. They were told to remove this individual from the plane, right? So of course they're just the instrumentality of the decisions that were made by the airline and in conjunction with the Department of Aviation.
The guy at the what was his name? Munoz,
Oscar Munoz, the
Oscar
CEO.
Munoz, right? Well, as soon as he gave up the shame thing, which I wrote about in the column, as soon as he says shame, I'm shamed or we feel shame, then all of a sudden it started easing off a little bit.
Oh,
you have to these videos and this whole kabuki thing. You have to say shame at the end. You have to say that I'm offended, or I'm sorry I've offended you and may have brought shame to you and me.
You have to
use the word
full supplication.
Groveling.
Yeah. groveling.
Even if you don't mean it.
Please spare me. Well, and now again, to be fair, United could have handled this differently, like Delta did in Florida, where New York Post story brings us the case of veteran traveler and media commentator Laura Begley Bloom, who made $11 grand for volunteering to give up her family's ticket on an overbooked flight from New York City to Florida last Friday during the height of spring break. This woman,
over 3 days, she kept getting bumped. She kept taking the money.
Yeah, this woman, Miss Bloom, admits she's always quietly scoffed at travelers who would give up a seat on a flight in exchange for a voucher. Not my thing, she said, but I guess at a certain price point, it is your thing, and this is why United would have been better to find the market clearing price, which is what I've said for the last 3 days. And if $800 and an overnight stay wasn't getting you the 4 volunteers you need, then just raise the ante.
I got a problem with this whole business because there's a video of the doctor. If there only were videos of so we could see 2 little 12-year-old boys shot in Old Town, or judge being murdered, then maybe Rahm Emanuel would have to react to it rather than, announcing that a street near Cubs Park is named after Javi Baez.
Well, here's
because that thing is just. I mean, yeah, okay.
It's pretty funny. Here's an idea. I maybe we can address it this way. Look, since the Cook County State's Attorney just put a turnstile in at 26th and Cal.
That's another story. You're talking about the Judge Champas story, Peggy Champas?
Well, I'm just
complaining that
just as a general rule, not an individual.
We're not going to enforce parole violators, so let them out.
So
let them walk.
Since we're going to let violent criminals out anyway, after relatively modest sentences, why don't we just say, we'll let you out 30 days earlier if you agree, not for an ankle bracelet, but a GoPro to be strapped to your head so that the next violent crime you commit, we've got a video of it so that we can post online so that we can all get outraged about it.
I love it. And I also want those body cams of cops when they pick up a victim and the child is crying or something, or the person has just been assaulted, to put that out there too so people can see the kind of brutal underworld that cops see every day.
Yeah, I mean that's the only way to whip up the moral indignation that people are.
If it's not on video, it never happened, my friend. This is the new world. Deal with it.
Well, it happened, but it's just not. It doesn't give me the same platform to opine and be morally indignant about it, right? I mean, this is the difference. Ray Rice beating up his girlfriend.
He slugged her.
Yeah, versus what's his name, the defensive lineman from the Panthers, Hardy, who beat the hell out of his girlfriend, and there were pictures of her, the resulting injury she suffered.
But there was no video of her being dragged through the hotel corridor like a sack of potatoes.
Right, he wasn't banned, out of the elevator, or seeing her get knocked out. He wasn't banned from football. He was signed by the Cowboys until he couldn't play anymore. So the standards.
What does it say, Professor, about our culture? I don't know.
Yeah, not in a good
place. We're screwed anyway. Doesn't matter. It's over. I'm going to New Zealand tomorrow.
All right, great.
Thank you.
Find a little plot of land for me. I'll be your shepherd.
I'll be a prepper.
Yeah,
you can be my shepherd.
I'll be your shepherd. Verlin on the south side. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
What's up, Dan? What's up, John?
Hey,
What's up, Verlin?
I tried to be the one guy not to call in about this subject, but Dan, you made a reference to how he sounds.
Yeah.
And I got a better one.
Okay.
He sound like the ape from the original Planet of the Apes when he was hollering when he was getting his butt whooped. Look, I'm going to tell you something. If you're going to fall on your sword like the police officers are doing, what those cops, aviation police are doing, they should have went all the way.
Or on your armrest.
They should have really beat him up. Come to my neighborhood and watch a real beat down. That guy is a wuss.
Verlin, what happened to the hair grab? That's what I'm trying to. You grab the guy's hair, then he follows you, right? What was the thing?
Right. Listen, these guys now, they're not made out of the tough stuff that we grew up with. If he crying about that little bit of pulling down the aisle and his head hitting the armrest, look, I chalk him in the category of sissified.
Thanks for the call, Verlin. By the way, he fell on that armrest.
Well, one time in another life when I was arrested for a crime that has since been expunged, and I was 17, I said, don't talk to your don't say anything till you could talk to your law. Before I got the "you're out," my face did not hit an armrest. It hit the back of an officer's head. And guess what? I deserved it. I'm just saying me.
Bill and McHenry.
Yeah.
Morning, gentlemen. There's so many things about this story that don't pass the smell test, and the media is really, squeezing as much mileage out of it as they can. Oscar Munoz is not the CEO of Republic Airlines. He shouldn't be taking the fall for this whole mess. And the way it was handled was pretty terribly done. But the bottom line is, when those crew members are deadheading to cover schedule like they were, they're positive space. They get on that airplane right away. Fact is, to some degree, they're more important than the revenue passengers on that flight. So the way the media is running with it, it's turned into such a joke. It brings out the worst in all of us because it's
yeah, but you can't drag the guy out of the chair. Come on.
Well, I
Give him
understand that, but
money and an extra flight.
I understand the way Oscar is he's a stand-up guy. He's a class act. I did not work for United, worked for another carrier. But bottom line is, if he stands up like that and takes the fall, then it shows that he's got some character. And in the long run, if you're buying off all those passengers that were on that flight with a free ticket somewhere, that's ridiculous. That is just, as both of you were saying, it brings out the worst in the human species. It really does.
I agree with that, Bill. But thanks for the call. But I mean, I'm sure all those passengers on that flight are suffering from post-traumatic stress. At least that's what Corboy and Demetrio told them they're suffering from.
They will all be in the hospital. If Doctors Corboy and Demetrio would put the whole plane in the hospital. They would give them IVs and counseling and all that.
Yeah, wheel them into court. Jed and Oswego.
Yeah, how you doing today?
Hey, good.
Just calling about the procedure. I really don't care what went on the airplane. I just don't understand. I've flown many times. The first class people go on in allotment 1. Then the next rated people that have paid more money go on. I'm usually in the 3rd or 4th group.
Me too.
They know the capacity of the seating. Why did they even walk down that ramp or tarmac when you're getting close to those obligated seats? You just stop them at the gate. It's a procedural problem with United. I don't want to talk about what's going on the airplane, but just to me, it just seems like it's a moot point. It's a procedural problem with United. Why did those customers get down, even on the plane to get seated?
Thanks for the call, Jed. Yeah, I mean, I think he makes a good point. All of this needs to be handled at the terminal, not on the plane.
You thought that boarding was a problem before? After all the lawyers get through, corporate lawyers in every airline get through, and the regulators, and all those congressmen who never clout their way on flights, it's gonna take you 7 hours to board a plane to Indianapolis.
And the worst thing is, Jan Schakowsky is going to be sitting next to you.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Lou Downs. A look at economic reports out today. Amazon introducing tools to help parents watch their kids. Those stories and more next. Hi, folks. Are you an individual or business who owes at least $10,000 to the IRS? Are your wages being garnished? Has your bank account been levied? Do you have years of unfiled tax returns and you're losing sleep at night worrying about it all? Rapid Resolution Tax Group is a team of tax attorneys, enrolled agents, and tax professionals who have helped thousands of people with problems just like yours. They're accredited with the Better Business Bureau and they guarantee same-day contact with the IRS. If you qualify, Rapid Resolution Tax Group can work towards settling your tax debt for less, removing penalties and fees, and stopping levies and garnishments. They're not intimidated by the IRS, and they promise not to let the IRS intimidate you. Call the professionals at Rapid Resolution Tax Group. They're at 800-601-2929. 800-601-2929. That's 800-601-2929. Investors have a couple of reports to consider today. We'll have the latest Producer Price Index and the Consumer Confidence Index. First Lady Melania Trump has accepted an apology and $3 million in damages from the publisher of the Daily Mail newspaper for reporting rumors about her time as a model. Amazon introducing new tools to help parents see what their kids are doing on the company's Fire tablets. And as the Stanley Cup playoffs begin, the Associated Press reports NHL coaches have more technology available to them than ever. 3 iPad Pros reportedly will be available for coaches on every bench to help them make adjustments and decide when to challenge offside and goaltender interference situations. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern, on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
It's a business reality. More B2B leads equal more sales. The Sales Prospecting Group is ready to help you take your business to the next level. The Sales Prospecting Group is a local Chicagoland company that has helped hundreds of companies nationwide secure new business by getting them in the door. Recently, in just 1 week, they set 24 sales appointments within the industrial industry and another 18 sales appointments within the software industry. One client in the medical products industry received more than 1,200 sales leads since mid-January. No contract labor or offshore callers. Their in-house staff of business account executives are highly trained, professional, and effective. Get a custom campaign specifically for your business. They know how to navigate complex corporate hierarchies to get to the right people and get you connected with them. The Sales Prospecting Group specializes exclusively on B2B sales. Call the Sales Prospecting Group now to learn how they could help your business grow in 2017. The number is 630-701-9052. Again, 630-701-9052. The Sales Prospecting Group. It's time to grow.
Hey everyone, Dave from Draft Tech here. So you're a project engineer and you've got some nice projects coming down the pike. You'll probably call the same companies for the design work that everyone else calls because you figure, hey, a pipe designer is a pipe designer, right? Wrong. A good pipe designer produces great designs that are easy to install and support. A good designer identifies problems proactively when the fix is still cheap. A good designer gets more fabrication done in the shop, less in the field, and provides impeccable documentation. A good designer will save you thousands in lost time, waste, and rework. Don't normalize mediocrity. You owe it to yourself and your company to step outside the box and call Draft Tech. We're a small company. We can't take every project that comes along, but if we're on your project, you can rest easy knowing that it's getting done right. Check us out at draftingresults.com. That's Draft Tech at draftingresults.com. Draft Tech. Cutting-edge technology, old-school service.
If you have pain, listen up. Dennis Prager here. You don't need to live in pain. Let me repeat that. You don't have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, whether it's from an accident or pain that just develops. So, Chicagoland, you're in luck. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the nation's most respected and successful pain doctors. He's been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Bottom line, he's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists will help you get off pain medication and all of its side effects. How? By finding the source of your chronic pain and fixing it.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. Let's make you pain-free.
Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain, and you can be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info you need at mypainchicago.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up, Notre Dame University not comfortable inviting Donald Trump, the President of the United States, to give the commencement speech. They were comfortable inviting the Vice President, but now the students are uncomfortable. Oh, boy. Campus Watch at 7:07 with John Cass. But now the headlines with Mike Scott.
Police say robbery a motive in a judge's shooting death. That story coming up after Fox. WIND Chicago News Time, 7.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lisa Brady. Despite a frosty reception in Moscow,
the world's two foremost nuclear powers cannot have this kind of relationship.
Secretary of State Rex Tillerson's meetings with his Russian counterpart and President Putin are winning praise from President Trump. Fox Radio's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Lisa saying U.S.-Russia relations may be at an all-time low. President Trump expressed hope things could get better.
It'd be a fantastic thing if we got along with Putin and if we got along with Russia. And that could happen, and it may not happen. It may be just the opposite.
The president held a White House news conference with NATO Secretary General yesterday, where he said he was optimistic Tillerson's meetings in Moscow went well. He also stood by his decision to launch airstrikes on Russia's ally, Syria, in response to President Bashar al-Assad's chemical attack on his own people. Lisa.
Well, Rachel, Russia says it hasn't seen any evidence the Syrian president was to blame and blocked a UN Security Council resolution condemning the regime. It took 6 years, but the Mexican suspect in the death of a U.S. Border Patrol agent is now in custody. Fox Radio's Tanya J. Powers with this live.
Heraclio Osorio Arianes is accused of pulling the trigger in the 2010 death of Brian Terry, a U.S. Border Patrol agent whose death exposed a botched gun tracking operation by the federal government. Terry's brother, Kent Terry's reaction to the news?
I was driving and on my way to my appointment, and then I heard it on the Fox Nation News on Sirius, and I was just like, wow. So I had to rewind it to make sure I heard it right.
4 other men involved in the killing have been convicted or have pleaded guilty in federal court to murder charges. Lisa.
Thanks, Tanya. Pope Francis marking Holy Thursday by urging the faithful to enjoy the little things in life that bring joy. He's also holding a mass of the Last Supper for inmates at a prison near Rome. Last trading day of the week for Wall Street, Dow futures are lower. You're listening to Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
.45 degrees. We have cloudy skies. 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. One man faces murder and other charges in the shooting death of Cook County Judge Raymond Miles. Police say Joshua Smith has been charged with first-degree murder, attempted murder, and other charges. Chief of Detectives Melissa Staples.
The footage obtained from these cameras played a crucial role in identifying the vehicle that was involved in this incident.
The judge was gunned down early Monday outside of his Southside home. More charges could be filed in that attack. A Cook County judge is accused of providing false information in order to secure loans for 2 properties on Chicago's South Side. Judge Jessica O'Brien was indicted yesterday on mortgage fraud. Authorities say she lied and concealed information from lenders to obtain over $1.4 million in mortgages. They say the money was spent on investment properties that O'Brien bought and sold between 2004 and 2007. State police are investigating after a body was found in the Chicago Sanitary and Ship Canal near Lamont. Rescue workers pulled the man yesterday out of the water just west of that suburban town. Fire officials do not believe the victim is from the area. A federal jury awards $13 million to a man who spent 21 years in prison after signing a murder conviction that he claims was manufactured by Chicago police and Cook County prosecutors. Dion Patrick was given that award by District Judge Ronald Guzman. Patrick was convicted in 1995 in the deaths of Sharon Hagebook and Jeffrey Lassiter. The campus of the future at the University of Illinois could include robot cars and a new ice rink. The school releasing its campus master plan yesterday in addition to a rather large expansion. U of I leaders are hoping to innovate with autonomous vehicles around campus, and they want to add a new ice rink near Memorial Stadium. Bulls end up in the playoffs with a last-minute win over the Nets, 112-73. Derek Holland, a no-hitter into the 6th inning. Sox look good in beating the Indians 2-1. Dodgers blanked the Cubs 2-0 at Wrigley Field. Stanley Cup playoffs at the UC tonight. Game 1 of the first-round series between the Blackhawks and Predators. The news service of Westin Hotels and Resorts. At Westin, they offer a menu of delicious superfoods. Why? It's not because they give you actual superpowers. It's so you can rise above travel disruptions and stay in control of your well-being. Eat well with the Superfoods RX menu. Westin, let's rise. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
By now, you've had your chance to watch the mainstream media do everything they can to destroy President Donald Trump. Any pretense of being fair and impartial is now history. While all these years they were playing a game trying to disguise their true intentions. Now it's simply Katie bar the door. Certain networks seem to have abandoned whatever journalistic credibility they once held dear. So what to do? Where do you turn? How can you know what's really going on? Just keep it right here. We'll get you through. AM 560, The Answer.
Men, if you're like me, you appreciate the feeling of a smooth, clean shave. But you're tired of paying $32 for new blades. Stop messing around with those generic razors and start shaving with Harry's for half the price. Harry's is so confident in the quality of their blades, they'll send you their most popular shave set, shaving cream, and post-shave balm for free when you cover shipping, a total value of $20. Just go to harrys.com now and enter code 1137 at checkout to redeem your shave set. That's harrys.com, code 1137.
In your business, you trust people who time and time again get the job done. At Indeed.com, we deliver 5 times more hires than any other job site, according to independent research. That's why over 3 million businesses use Indeed when they're hiring, because getting the job done matters. Right now, we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job on the world's #1 job site. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
7:06, and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
Pike and Summit northbound Harlem is blocked 63rd to 59th after an early morning wreck, and eastbound 63rd is closed as well, Harlem to Nottingham. On the Indiana Toll Road, we're seeing heavy delays eastbound due to rain and road work. Portage Travel Plaza to Portage Toll Plaza. The Edens is 32 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 26. Kennedy, 41 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 19 from Montrose, 17 in the Express. Outbound 43 minutes to O'Hare for the Eisenhower. An hour and 2 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, 46 minutes from Manheim, outbound 44 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 6 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 44 minutes. Bryan is 32 minutes, 95th to downtown. Slow on the Tri-State southbound, 132 to 120 with a crash still there in the right lane. Northbound very heavy, Cicero to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Tui Toll Plaza. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, mostly cloudy, periods of rain for the morning, followed by a shower in spots for the afternoon, high 54. Tonight, mostly cloudy, low 47. Tomorrow, a shower or thunderstorm in the area, high 69. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Rain and 44 at O'Hare. Next news at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan, and in for Amy this morning, John Cass, our special guest on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Fox River Periodontics, Chicagoland specialist with dental implants. To get your smile back, visit implantsforme.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan, and in for Amy this morning is Chicago Tribune columnist John Cass, who's got 2 young men currently matriculating at institutions of higher learning.
Cost me a lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's the takeaway from their college education.
No, it's a good thing. When they come home, when they're home, and then they decide to go out till 4 a.m, that I can't sleep. When they're away at college, I can sleep. I don't know how that works.
So
it's a dad thing.
So what year are they? They're sophomores?
Juniors.
Oh, juniors. And how has their college experience been? Do you think you're getting value for your dollar? They're getting value for your dollar?
My one son wanted to go to attend Annapolis and drop that after Benghazi. He said, Dad, they let them die in Benghazi. I said, that's what they do.
Okay.
They're doing things that they've decided to do to study stuff that will get them a job.
So they're not going to be medieval arts majors?
No, I would have been a medieval literature major and a filmmaker, but then it only took me 10 years not to graduate from college. I noticed in one of your tweets or something, you say high school graduate.
Yeah, I am a high school graduate.
Me too, but I didn't take the next. I took a lot of classes, but I never got the degree.
So you're
and you'd think that Columbia College would give me the damn degree, right?
What about an honorary degree in exchange for speaking to the minds of mush, as Rush would say?
Only $30,000 like Valerie Jarrett?
Well,
nice.
Well,
Valerie.
They wouldn't have to pay you. You would do it for the honorary degree.
Oh, like a payoff?
So you could finally be a man of letters.
Where my mortar board, for me, mortar and pestle.
So you don't have a college degree, so
no, I do not.
And look at you, you're a big shot. So what? Why do we need college degrees? Why do you have to go to college? I mean, 2/3 of the kids don't. So obviously, you don't have to go to college. But is anybody?
It's the immigrant view in my life.
Yeah, I see that.
Right, we go to college in our family.
You feel like you're making the next rung up the ladder. So I understand that. I also understand the idea that it's become like this credential you need as a threshold clearer. But I wonder if there are parents that are literally reconsidering sending their kids to college because of what is going on in most college campuses in this country today. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. One of the more recent exhibits about how silliness like safe spaces is metastasizing into seriousness like violence. Heather McDonald, the author of the best-selling book War on Cops, was at Claremont McKenna College in California, which is actually one of the more conservative colleges, used to be, in that state and in the nation. And she was on the show yesterday morning, so you can check out that interview at morninganswerchicago.com. And she spoke when she tried to speak at Claremont McKenna College, it was like getting her in and out was like getting her to the top of the Hanoi Hilton for the last chopper out. Listening to what the students did, and we've seen what they've done at Berkeley, and we saw
Yale
and heard what they did in terms of assaulting a professor at Middlebury.
Yale destroying the careers of 2 professors one who said, hey, you can wear Halloween costumes. It's not the end of the world.
Christakis, I believe, were the husband and wife at Yale. I mean, this is what Heather McDonald said on O'Reilly about the state of college campuses in America.
There is not a single college campus today that has not been pushed left by the introduction of faculty, younger faculty that come out of the victimology, identity politics world.
No question about that. One that's being pushed ever more left is the preeminent Catholic university in the country on this Holy Thursday. Notre Dame, which has become a Catholic university for persons who despise Catholicism, is under siege by students, and I'm sure faculty. Not because they invited President Trump to speak to give the commencement address this year, because they didn't do that. Because it's one thing to have a president of the United States come and speak who couldn't bring himself to oppose live birth abortions.
Why did they even bring him to speak? I remember writing there was a professor or doctor who had been given that same honorary award who turned it in.
Oh,
and it back.
Well, the Latari Medal that was conferred to Joe Biden. There's another pro-abort, quote-unquote Catholic politician, pro-marriage redefinition Catholic politician. So you got Biden is the Latari Medal Award recipient.
Right.
You got Barack Obama giving a speech at Notre Dame.
And now with Notre Dame now?
So not Trump, and have extended the invitation to Mike Pence, but not Pence either, not per the students. The kids, I should say. They're not students. They're children. They're kids. You are how you behave, and these are kids, and I include many of the faculty. A group organizing Not My Commencement Speaker campaign says that Pence's racist, sexist, homophobic, and xenophobic sins are too much for him to be able to speak at Notre Dame. One of the organizers, Jordan Williams, asserted, I know that during his time as governor of Indiana and also during his campaign trail, good English, along with Trump, he has made offensive statements towards minority groups. She declined to describe what exactly those statements, or identify those statements. Right. Well, that's right. Now, I mean, Pence is like, like central casting for Leave It to Beaver. I mean, he's walked out of the night, and
he's not a big fan of the gay rights thing. Okay.
Not a big fan. I mean, he's a social conservative who actually lives his faith. There's little question about that. As of course. Of the whole controversy.
He doesn't go to he doesn't go to Sam's or Harry's, whatever it is, with Manhattans and a female lobbyist. Oh, guess what? John Cass doesn't go out with women at night either.
Well, okay.
Sorry, put me in that.
All right, well, you're not going to be invited to give the commencement at Notre Dame either. Then that kind of hatefulness. So here's
I'm married to a Sicilian. Come on.
Right, you want to see the morning. Right. So here's the thing though about Pence. The kids saying Pence doesn't represent Catholic social teaching, apparently according to the Book of Flager, because
that's doctrine. I've been to the church. That's doctrine, especially the dancing on the in front of the altar.
And the embarrassing thing is the fact-free, foundation-free opinions that are offered by these students. They invoke Catholic social teaching, challenge them to name an encyclical, challenge them to name the Pope, for that matter.
How about recite the creed?
Nicene Creed? Yeah, right. Are you kidding me? A couple others.
On Holy Thursday. But the fact that they do not, that this has been going on time and time again in our universities, and hardly a peep out of the shame merchants of the left in my business, the media, because these are the kids who come into the media. These are the professors who come into it. This kind of thinking that I will shut you down and shame you for what you think is not it's not my father's liberalism. This is fascism. This is fascism of the left, clear and simple. It's all about shame and attitude and whining and sounding like Dr. Dow being dragged off the airplane. And I just had, I'm going to New Zealand. That's it. Yeah.
That's how students at Duquesne University reacted in response to the proposal to bring a Chick-fil-A to campus, suggesting that it might be...
Those aren't our values.
Well, it might make LGBTQMNSO feel they are not in a safe place. According to one of the luminaries, one of the kids at Duquesne, the restaurant has a contentious history because the owner's beliefs about same-sex marriage. Chick-fil-A has a questionable history in civil rights and human rights.
I don't think they've ever opposed...
Said the Star Chamber.
Yeah, but they're closed on Sunday. Chick-fil-A.
I know.
That's a sin.
That's a hate crime.
That's a hate crime.
There's no question. Hey, they're observing the Sabbath. That is intolerance. That is hate. I mean, you do the math, John.
What is the long term of this, Dan Proft? I mean, the fact that I don't hear people on the left in my business condemning this kind of thing on a regular basis really bothers me.
Well, here's the thing. Here's something you might want to think about before you go off half-cocked.
Me and the other two conservatives left.
You might want to run your views up against the white privilege checklist, and if you go to the University of Minnesota, there's it's nicely provided for you in the residence hall. So send your kids to University of Minnesota, and at Udolph Hall on the campus there, they've got the white privilege checklist so that you can complete.
Let's take a test. You have it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Here, 11 statements. I'm not inherently racist because I don't believe in white privilege. Do you agree or disagree?
That's a tricky question.
It is. This is how they get you. I can arrange to be in the company of people of my race most of the time. And the list begins, followed up with references to being able to see people of color, people of my race, in popular culture and discussions.
Well, I'm an expert on all this because Greeks were not
Greek
white.
Privilege.
There's no, Greek cultural appropriations. I'm going to have you file a lawsuit against MSU for daring to wear green. Spartans did not wear green. But the other issue, is, Greeks were not white. I'm Greek. We weren't white until, I think we became white when Richard Daley signed an executive order.
Oh, sure.
On the Richard J. Daley.
Yeah.
On the night that Jackie Kennedy married Aristotle Onassis.
That's when you were finally...
Actually, I put that in the paper years ago.
You were a made man.
We were made then.
Yeah.
We were acknowledged white then by the politics.
Congratulations.
And when I put it in the paper, people actually
thought it was,
like,
it was a real deal. That was a celebration in Greektown.
Really? Yeah.
Let me just check one more with you. I want you to think about this.
Please.
I can go shopping alone most of the time, pretty well assured that if I will, pretty well assured that if I do, I will not be followed or harassed. Is that your experience, or are you normally harassed by throngs of fans when you go shopping?
I generally, in the stores that I shop in, like when I'm going for my Lululemon pants and so forth, people, kind of look at me askance.
Sure, I would think they would.
You too, right? Like when we go shopping for our yoga clothes together,
activewear.
Yeah, right.
They look at us in horror, as is the appropriate response. If you want to complete the rest of the 11-point white privilege checklist, then send your kids to Minnesota, because I'm kind of done with it. Pat in Morgan Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Morning, gentlemen.
Hey, Pat.
We're not dealing with fascism. We're dealing with Manichaeanism. Notre Dame.
Check the words.
Black Lives Matter. All this stuff goes back to old Manny, a Persian, who invented this long before fascism and that stuff.
That's true. That's
yeah,
true.
The American Manichaeans and Notre Dame's as guilty of that heresy as it can be for allowing their poor little kids to believe in that stuff. St. Augustine did away with that a long time ago, I believe it was. No, St. Ambrose.
Thanks for the call, Pat. So here's a thesis that
it's a good thing they didn't know Empress Irene because she'd poured molten silver in their eyes.
Pat's given me an idea for a paper
Right.
that you can do to get your degree from Columbia. Compare and contrast Manichaeism from mannequinism as practiced by Andrew McCarthy and Kim Cattrall in the 1980s rom-com.
What was it called?
Mannequin.
Mannequin.
Yeah.
Mannequinism.
Mannequinism versus Manichaeism.
So I'm for it. I could tweet that out.
For which one?
See, that's the trick.
I'll wait for the paper. George in Libertyville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, guys, great topic. Where do you think these kids end up going to work? I mean, we've got plenty of young people in our office, and either they learn to not say anything about their true feelings,
right,
or they laugh about this, because you hear this stuff, and it just talk about shaking your head.
Thanks for the call, George.
I think they're going to be, they could be chiefs of staff for Rahm Emanuel pretty soon.
Sure, they
way
could.
They could punch that ticket and work in Washington and do all, punch their progressive ticket and be part of the elite. And guys who are listen to this station are not the elite, and that's how it's going to work. It's almost like a Kurt Vonnegut novel that's going to happen.
You're a very learned man for somebody without a college degree.
As Lincoln said, you get an education, you don't receive.
That's right. It's not where you go to college; it's how you go to college.
By the lamplight.
Kurt in Brookfield.
Hey, good morning.
Kurt.
I have a stepson who's Filipino, and we're looking at the colleges right now. And I'm a vet from the Gulf War, and I've been in law enforcement 21 years. It's interesting how they look at him until they find out what his dad does for a living, and just the college tours, how you see some of all of a sudden he goes from being Filipino to a white privileged son, and I've seen his disgust at when he sees some of this protest at what his stepfather's provided him, and knows I'm out on the street defending this country. It's just embarrassing that I'm going to spend this much money, and it's almost like you can't find a college that you can do that at.
Thanks.
Where you can have leaning ideas without being ostracized.
Hillsdale College. Thanks for the call, Kurt. Hillsdale, University of Dallas,
that's liberal
Wyoming
arts.
Catholic.
Liberal arts colleges are not going to provide you with the techniques necessary to get a. I mean, what? You're going to study history? I love Hillsdale.
Yeah.
But what do you? Where's the job for the history professor, especially a white guy? It doesn't,
Well,
demographics and all that.
With a liberal arts education, you can do more than just go into academia. But
You
I
can
take
be a
your
lawyer.
Point. Oh, you can do something.
And then what? You have to ask Kim Fox. you have to ask Kim Fox for a job so you can hug, some criminals. Come on.
Kevin in Northfield, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Two comments, guys. First comment, on campus, you deserve a safe space so long as you agree with me. If you don't agree with me, we have ways of making you. Second comment,
yes.
John Cass, I did a research, and your people killed Socrates. Your people killed Socrates, and so we can't have you on campus.
Listen, the liberal Greeks killed
Kevin.
Socrates. In my village, we're up in the Rizes Arcadia in the mountain, and it's called the root of the mountain, and we were for the king, and that's how it works.
I like the easiest of give you with cheese on it.
Are you culturally appropriating me? How dare you?
Jim in Mokina, you're on
Wheaton,
Chicago's
Mr.
Morning
Wheaton,
Answer.
basketball player.
Hi, this is Jim from Okina. I just came back from South Carolina, which is true Trump country. But, down there they talked about Clemson University, and they said that this year they had 26,000 applicants. Of those, they'll send out applications for 11, and they'll accept 4,000. But they tell the kids right off the bat, all we want to see is your grade point and your ACT scores. Do not write the required letter at the end of the ACTs. Do not worry about your extracurricular activities. And a third of the kids who go there are enrolling in engineering school. So, I mean, I think that's a school that's bucking the trend where...
Oh, Jim, you've walked into it.
Jim, are you saying that I can't get into college if I write 1,000 times Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter?
You can get into Stanford.
Well, you could, but they're not even going to look at what you wrote. All they want to know is ACT.
Jim, I don't know.
How dare you, Jim?
Jim, I don't know how to break this to you, but let me tell you a story about Clemson that comes from the College Fix. The university warns faculty not to enforce start times for gatherings at Clemson. In an online training featuring fictional characters, on one of the slides, a character named Alejandro schedules a 9 a.m. meeting between two groups of foreign professors and students. The first group arrives 15 minutes early, while the second arrives 10 minutes late. They wanted to socialize first. According to the answers, it is wrong for Alejandro to politely ask the second group to apologize or explain that in our country 9 a.m. means 9 a.m. because it disrespects other people's culture who don't show up on time. So scheduling classes or meeting times is culturally insensitive if you expect people to actually abide them. That's at Clemson University, being taught by the university or instructed by the university administration to its faculty.
Get in the Wayback Machine, Dan. We're going back to, I don't know.
Thanks for the call, Jim. You know, throw out of college and I got a story. That's the problem.
Connect with Dan and A.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
It's working great on me. I can't believe it. I've been having a lot of health issues. You know, my muscles, my legs, my knees. So ever since I've been taking this, I've really, really improved. My blood pressures are way down. My cholesterol's are back to normal. I'm in just good shape. I can't believe this thing is going. I even lost 6 pounds when I went to the doctor. And he wanted to know what I'm doing to lose 6 pounds. But I'm not doing anything. I just taking this balance of nature, and it's working out for me. And it'll work for anybody, I know.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
There's so much to look forward to as the weather gets warmer. Outdoor sports and activities, backyard parties, and graduations. For your next celebration, party, or get-together, leave the eats to Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli. Whether it's around your table or theirs, Augie's is the place where sports teams, families, and friends celebrate with great food at a great price for almost 40 years. Try their signature subs, freshly made and fully loaded with the highest quality meats and cheese. Or choose from their fresh, never-frozen half-pound Angus beef burgers, authentic homemade Italian beef sandwiches, hand-rolled meatballs, pizza, and fresh salads. Dine in, surrounded by authentic rock and roll memorabilia, or phone ahead for orders to go. Whatever works for your team, Augie's offers fast, fresh, affordable food, designed to make your special time with friends and family simple and easy. Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli in Carroll Stream or West Chicago. Don't forget to check out their extensive catering menu at augustinos.com. This season, let the good times happen with Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli.
Are you stuck in a bad home mortgage? Well, join the club that has about 10 million other American families. But I may be able to help you. My name is Lou Bridges. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Lou Bridges and Associates. We've been helping distressed homeowners like you for over 8 years now. Give us a call. We provide free consultations. I guarantee you it will not be a sales pitch. We will give you our honest legal analysis, counsel, recommendations, and advice regarding your options.
We are experts in doing loan modifications successfully. We know the regs. We understand the process. Most importantly, we don't take no for an answer. We fight. We are prepared, and we win. We save houses. We make houses affordable. So if you want to keep your house affordable, contact us.
Go to bridgeslaw.net or call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231.
Remember, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, I guarantee you'll never be alone in this country.
Just a few weeks ago, our AM 560 business tour stopped at Morcus Chocolates and Palatine. Thanks to all of the listeners who stopped by to say hello. We had a great time. We learned a lot about this great company from the owner, Rhonda Morcus, who supported me when I ran for governor, by the way.
Her grandfather founded the company in 1920. The samples that Rhonda shared with us were amazing. I was also intrigued to learn more about Morkish Chocolate's parties. That's right, they have a party room at Morkish Chocolates in Palatine where you can experience the chocolate creations hands-on. Then you can take your chocolate creations home. And it's not just for kids. Think about group outings, birthday parties, office parties. I think we'll even celebrate my birthday there if anyone will come. John? There's nowhere else like Morkish Chocolates. Go to Morkish, M-O-R-K-E-S, MorkishChocolates.com for information about an outing or to view their great Easter items, or call 847-359-3454. I can't wait to go back to Morkish Chocolates. Call them now at 847-359-3454 or visit MorkishChocolates.com.
Speed Queen washers and dryers, built for commercial use and now available for the home, are designed to last over 10,400 cycles or 25 years. But if you're an overworked multi-kids 10 loads a week kind of laundry doer, these machines may only last 20 years, even with Speed Queen's commercial quality metal components. So, buy a Speed Queen knowing you may be in for a mere 20 years of continuous use. Visit us at speedqueen.com.
Right now at Kohl's, take an extra 20% off Easter looks for you and your family. That's an extra 20% off girls' dresses, already 50% off. With an extra 20% off, Croft & Barrow spring polos for him are just $10.39. And a Sonoma embroidered dress for you is just $19.99. Plus, get $10 Kohl's cash for every $50 spent. Get everyone ready for Easter, right now at Kohl's. Select styles, some exclusions apply. Offer valid April 13th through 15th. See store or kohls.com for details.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up, I got a bone to pick with Congressman Peter Roskam. Why is John Koskinen still the IRS commissioner at 7:37? But now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
Dan, good morning. 45 degrees, rain showers. The Kremlin saying this morning President Vladimir Putin's meeting with Secretary of State Rex Tillerson produced no immediate positive shift in relations between the two countries. NATO's Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg calling his meeting yesterday with President Donald Trump good and productive.
A strong transatlantic alliance as NATO is important for Europe, but it's also important for the United States, and especially in times of uncertainty.
Stoltenberg saying the president expressed strong support but would like to see NATO do more in the fight against terrorism. Two women accused of poisoning the estranged half-brother of North Korea's ruler have appeared in court in Malaysia. Their attorneys saying police still have not handed over security, camera footage, and documents critical to their defense. The CEO of United Airlines will not give a planned speech in Florida today because of that public relations fiasco on board one of his planes. Airline executive Oscar Munoz is canceling his scheduled speech at the World Affairs Council at Jacksonville University's Davis College of Business. One man faces murder charges in the shooting death of Cook County Judge Raymond Miles. In Chicago, Joshua Smith was charged yesterday with that first-degree murder charge, along with aggravated battery with a firearm and armed robbery charges. State police are investigating after a body was found in the Chicago Sanitary and Ship Canal near Lamont. The National Park Service closes a third beach along the Indiana Dunes National Lakeshore following a toxic wastewater spill. And the Cook County State's Attorney's Office says they're trying to prevent a newly elected mayor of South Suburban Markham from taking office. Prosecutors filed a lawsuit yesterday seeking an injunction to ban Roger Agpawa from becoming mayor because of a prior felony conviction. And an Arizona teen is making sports history. Becca Longo of Chandler Basha High School will play college football at an NCAA Division II school, Adams State in Colorado. Longo is reportedly the first girl in the country to sign a college football letter of intent at that level. By the way, she was 30 of 33 on extra point attempts last season. Bulls clinched the final playoff spot in the NBA East, beating the Nets last night. Sox beat the Indians. Dodgers blanked the Cubs. And Stanley Cup playoff hockey tonight, the Blackhawks and Predators. The news, a service of Staples. HP Savings Month at Staples means big savings on great HP products all month long. Right now, get up to $180 off select quality HP printers. Ends 4/15. Restrictions apply. See staples.com/HP month for details. 7:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Skip traffic and save money with Metra's 95% on-time dependability and 10-ride ticket that makes every 10th ride free. For fares and schedules, visit metrorail.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
Did you know reading a food label is simple? The nutritional facts can be confusing and misleading, so just read the ingredients list. If the ingredient seems too long for that particular food, don't eat it. If you can't read it, don't eat it. If it contains ingredients you're not familiar with, don't eat it. If it looks like it came from a factory or a laboratory instead of a kitchen, stay away. Don't eat it. Choose foods made from whole grains, whole fruits and vegetables, and other real ingredients.
Here's microbiologist Dr. Kim O'Neill talking about Balance of Nature.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. They fight against oxidants that damage the cell's DNA, causing mutations that lead to disease. I don't take any supplementation, but I take Balance of Nature because I know, I've seen it in my lab, and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true.
Even my doctor thought it was a good product. I mentioned, he says, am I taking any supplements? And I told him Balance of Nature. He said, if there's one to take, he says, you're taking the right one.
Normally, I'm sick every year with bronchitis or a bronchial pneumonia. Seriously, 2, 3, 4 times a year. I have not had that at all this year.
Balance of Nature is celebrating its 20th anniversary by providing you the best offer they've ever given. 2 free months of fruits and veggies and free shipping. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
We are amazed at what it does. It is really a wonderful product.
7:37. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Mike, the southbound tri-state is very heavy from 132 to 120, where a crash has cleared now. The northbound tri-state has big delays, Cicero to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Toohey Toll Plaza. Veterans Memorial jammed, I-55 to Roosevelt, the Army Trail Toll to 290. Eden's Expressway inbound from Lake Hook to the Junction is 29 minutes, outbound 35. Kennedy, 53 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 59. Eisenhower, an hour and 5 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop, outbound an hour. Stevenson, an hour 11, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 48 minutes. The Ryan is 32 minutes, 95th to downtown. Traffic is a service of Account Temps. Feeling like tax season might run you over? Avoid the project pileup. Account Temps can offer you highly skilled, temporary accounting and finance professionals to help you cruise through the season. Call them today or visit AccountTemps.com. Account Temps, a Robert Half company. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Cloudy. Morning rain showers and an afternoon shower in spots. High 54. A low of 47 overnight. Currently 44. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan, and in for Amy this morning, John Cass, our special guest on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Turnkey IT, giving you the freedom to focus on your business while they handle the technical stuff. Turnkey IT.
Your money. Find out how to keep more of it and live debt-free. Tonight on The Dave Ramsey Show, starting at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan. And in for Amy this morning is Chicago Tribune columnist John Cass. And John, April 15th is Holy Saturday, and there's something wrong with it also being tax day. But it is.
It should be election day.
You ready for, yeah, right, tax day is election day. You ready for some dad humor? You're a dad. You'll like this. You ready?
I'm ready to laugh. Laugh my bleeping head off right now.
John Cass, what is the difference between death and taxes?
What? I don't know, Dan. What?
Congress doesn't meet every year to make death worse. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm here all week.
Take my taxes, please.
Okay, Henny Cass. So here's the thing. You've got the issue of tax reform that comes to mind because of tax day in the offing. You also have the issue of the IRS. And John Koskinen and Lois, I take the fifth learner, are still running around free. One, still the IRS commissioner, being Koskinen. We're 90 days in. The IRS was weaponized in the previous regime to target people based on religious and political beliefs. The IRS, apparently, according to a Treasury Department IG report, was illegally taking money targeting small businesses under the Bank Secrecy Act, 91% of whom the Treasury IG found had obtained the money legally. They were running legitimate businesses, and they were still getting harassed, having their money taken by the IRS.
I wonder why there are no jobs.
And I wonder why we haven't seen President Trump and a Republican Congress act on the IRS. Talk about a layup. And not just a layup politically, but it should be a priority because of the power that the IRS has in our society, which making it less free and increasingly so. And so for a status report on what will be done at IRS by this Republican-controlled Congress, we're pleased to be joined by Congressman Peter Roskam. Peter, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Dan, John, good morning. Good to be with you guys.
Good morning. And so why is Koskinen still there? Why is Lerner not in a jumpsuit?
So Koskinen is still there because Donald Trump has the authority to dismiss him, and he has not exercised that authority. It's that simple. There's two political appointees at the IRS. One is the commissioner, and one is the general counsel. Both of them serve at the pleasure of the president. Every Republican on the Ways and Means Committee has written to President Trump saying, please dismiss John Koskinen for all the obvious reasons, and particularly, not just for things in the past that he's done, but particularly moving forward. If we want to have a good discussion and debate and fix our tax code, you got to have confidence in the tax enforcer, and Koskinen's got to go. So the president, it's very simple at this point. The president can remove him. It does. There's no other. There's no other.
Well, why isn't he removed?
Yeah, have you guys gotten feedback? No feedback.
Yeah, I don't know. He hasn't responded, to my knowledge, to that. And then what we're trying to do with Lois Lerner is, yesterday I wrote, along with the chairman of the Ways and Means Committee, Kevin Brady, who's written to the Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, and said, look, the statute of limitations has not run on Lois Lerner and the crimes that she committed. We at the Ways and Means Committee, back in 2014, we sent a letter, made a criminal referral to Eric Holder saying we think that we've proven or we've demonstrated that there's probable cause that she denied conservative due process and equal protection. She impeded an official investigation with the Inspector General. These are actionable items. These are felonies. Now, the Obama team obviously just completely dismissed this. Remember, Obama was given an interview, and he said there's not a smidgen of, corruption at the IRS. That's while the investigation was going on, which was a huge signal to the Justice Department. But that said, I think Attorney General Sessions can take this up, can bring this case, and bring justice here. There's no reason not to pursue this.
All right. Now, do you think it has anything to do, I mean, this is supposition, of course, but with the, politics going on within the kind of senior advisory level in the administration yesterday? President Trump, in an interview, saying that of Steve Bannon, one of his senior advisors. I like Steve, but you have to remember he was not involved in my campaign until very late.
He's just a guy.
I had always beaten all the senators and all the governors. I didn't know Steve. I'm my own strategist, and it wasn't like I was going to change strategies because I was facing crooked Hillary. Steve is a good guy, but I told them to straighten it out. Them, I think Jared Kushner and him, or I will. Is the jockeying for preeminence within the inner circle of Trump? Is that something that perhaps is distracting him from doing the important substantive work, like changing out Koskinen?
I don't know. I don't have enough insight into that interplay and those very, very personal dynamics between, people that are close to the president and who's closer and who's got the influence and so forth. Here's what I know. This is pretty straightforward. And the statute of limitations is still far enough off The Attorney General has an outstanding reputation as somebody who calls balls and strikes and enforces the law. And to your point earlier, Dan, when the IRS is weaponized and it is used to target, it is incredibly corrosive. And if you're a liberal, I mean, here's the thing to remember. If somebody's a liberal, the idea that a conservative, a conservative administration could then weaponize this is, should have your attention.
Right.
So the idea is like, look, let's just make sure that the bureaucrats are not driving a personal political agenda, and that's exactly what Lois Lerner did.
You mean like unmasking people because you don't like their politics?
Yeah, that's right. Like unmasking people, or like going on shows on, like Susan Rice did on Benghazi, saying it's a video when it wasn't a video. I mean, it's all of those things. But here we've got an example where the Ways and Means Committee has made a criminal referral. We are declaring that we believe that Lois Lerner committed a crime. We have made this direct referral to the executive branch. They have the ability to execute the law. They've got the ability to bring justice here. The legislative branch obviously doesn't. But we've essentially laid it all out for them in the past, and we're urging the Attorney General, take this up, review this, look at this. It could be that some of these things are easier to prove than others. My instinct is it's probably easier to prove that she impeded an official investigation by misleading the Inspector General. Fine, take up that case and pursue that case if the targeting per se is harder to pursue. I don't care. All I know is, in my opinion, and I think the opinion of the overwhelming majority of constituents that I represent, she crossed the line by going after people. And I'll tell you what, there was a Right to Life group that came in and testified before the Ways and Means Committee, and it was one of these moments that had a big impact on me. That the Right to Life folks came in from Iowa, and they said that the IRS was sending them letters asking them what they did in their meetings, and the Right to Life folks said, we do this, we do that, and the other thing, and we have prayer meetings, and the IRS wrote to them and said, tell us about your prayer meeting.
Yeah.
That's outrageous.
Send us copies of your prayers.
What kind of prayers do you say?
Yeah.
Yeah. So listen, if we sit back and say, well, statute of limitations, this case is hard to prove, this, that, and the other thing, and wring our hands and come up with excuses not to do it, I think that is disappointing is the understatement of the decade.
Now,
that would be a real lost opportunity.
Now, in another matter, you mentioned Kevin Brady, House and Ways chairman, and you're on the House and Ways Committee, and he has played an instrumental role in trying to advance the Obamacare replacement legislation. There's a story out of the Wall Street Journal yesterday saying that Trump is threatening to withhold payments to insurers to try and force Democrats to the table on Obamacare replacement. I don't really see any acceptable Obamacare replacement running through congressional Democrats, but the larger question is, where is Obamacare replacement? There was some suggestion that when Mike Pence was made the point man on it with the House, that we were going to see a version 2.0 that was going to move to the Senate in with all due speed. That hasn't materialized. Where are we in this process? Are we going to see a 2.0? Are you guys going to get something moved out of the House before the fall recess?
Here's where we should. Let me tell you what we should do, because I don't know where we are right now. I can't give you a straight answer on that. This is what we should do. We should dump this bill. And the reason that we're in this process right now is because congressional Republicans over the past several years, and I put myself right in this, never passed the bill to which we aspire. Why didn't we do that? Because it's hard, miserable work, and there's not a conservative consensus on what to do about health care. But had we done that work, we would be in a better position right now. We could have passed the aspirational bill out. It sits over in the Senate. It gets filibustered. Then the Senate comes up with this complicated hijinks called reconciliation, by which they can move a bill back. Right now, we're trying to explain a process, this reconciliation process, that is nearly impossible to explain. So let's not try to explain it. Let's show why we have to do it this way. But I think dump the current bill. All it's doing is creating a lot of acrimony, and reset the whole agenda. Take a longer view. Don't try and get something done by an arbitrary Thursday a couple of weeks ago. I mean, spare me. Let's move this thing out, build it out, take the time, use the process. It's not quick work, but it'll be good work when we get it done.
All right. He is Congressman Peter Roskam, course, the Republican representative from the 6th Congressional District in the western suburbs. Congressman Roscom, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Bye,
Great
Pete.
to be with you.
And he joined us on the Turnkey.pro answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Stuff together, you got to rewrite it.
Today in the weather department, it's mostly cloudy, morning rain followed by a shower in spots this afternoon, a high of 54. Tonight, mostly cloudy, low of 47. Wear a jacket. I'm cooking lamb on Sunday, and on Sunday, Easter Sunday, partly to mostly sunny and breezy, so chill until then. Now for Jim Telemonte and the traffic.
Thank you, John. Good morning. Southbound Tri-State, it's stop and go from Stearns School Road to 60 northbound. We see heavy delays Cicero to 31st and from the Reagan Tollway to the Toohey Toll Plaza. Reagan Tollway has delays 31 to 355 and 22nd to the Eisenhower. The Veterans Memorial very slow from 127th all the way up to 290. Southbound 53 is snarled Dundee to Kirchhoff. Eden's 29 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 35. The Kennedy, an hour and 2 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 31 minutes from Montrose, 24 in the Express. Outbound an hour and 8 minutes to O'Hare. The Eisenhower, an hour 12. Thorndale to the Loop, outbound an hour 19. Stevenson, an hour and 11 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 48 minutes. Bryan is 32 minutes, 95th to downtown. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Your healthcare facility could be spreading infectious pathogens, and you don't even realize it. You do your best to protect patients and staff, but is it enough? You hear frequent news of people going to the hospital for a procedure and leaving with an unrelated infection that could have been prevented, and it's costing healthcare $45 billion each year in revenue loss, additional surgeries, longer hospital stays, possible loss of accreditation, and even wrongful death. Are you doing everything you can to decrease the risk of infection in your critical environments, your operating rooms, your labs, and your pharmacies, all your critical environments? Don't take the risk. Critical Environments Professionals, or CPRO, is the one provider for compliance, containment, and infection prevention. An innovator with decades of experience with a multitude of hospitals served. Contact them for a free infection risk assessment for your critical facilities. Go to cproinc.com. Hit the promotions button. That's ceproinc.com. Or call 847-636-7710.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm almost 87 years old, and I have had irritable bowel syndrome. I really feel better at my age. I'm telling you, I was weak and weary and just afraid to go any place because of this irritable bowel thing, and now I'm doing better. My doctor's already taken me off I think that's the name of it, for your cholesterol. I did a test, and he said, you don't have extra cholesterol, and he took it away from me. Isn't that wonderful? I'm amazed. I really, truly am. I thought these old people on here giving these commercials were full of stuff, and they surely didn't mean it. And they do mean it.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
How would you like to have insurance for your computer network? Something to protect your hardware and software, and more importantly, give you peace of mind. Using Turnkey IT for installation and support of your systems is like having insurance for your computer network. For one affordable monthly payment, your company gets a full team of certified technicians who are there for you, working in the background to ensure your systems are up and running. They'll help you over the phone and make house calls to your workplace. And Turnkey IT doesn't wait until there's an emergency call because they work hard to take preventative measures, keeping networks secure, backed up, and running nonstop. Turnkey IT can protect your network with the Turnkey experience, where everything is included. Office 365 hosting, advanced network protection, cloud backup, disaster recovery, and unlimited remote and on-site support. Find out what Turnkey IT can do for your company today. It's easy. Visit turnkey.pro today. That's turnkey.pro.
A good parking lot is essential to a good building and a good business.
This is Kevin Berquist. My company is SKC Construction, home of GreatParkingLots.com. Great parking lots. The name says it all. We make your parking lot great. We are an industry leader in seal coating. You can trust our company to do the work for your company. We have the same traditional values as you. We use a process and application that makes sure you get a great job that lasts a long time. I guarantee you'll have a good experience. Go to our website, greatparkinglots.com. Check it out, greatparkinglots.com.
Go to greatparkinglots.com. Schedule a free inspection and get a quote to make your parking lot a great parking lot. Save the expense. Fix, don't replace. Contact SKC Construction now for commercial parking lot seal coating and maintenance. SKC Construction, home of greatparkinglots.com. greatparkinglots.com.
This is a life-changing message for anyone with sleep apnea who is on the go and tired of dragging around a big, bulky home CPAP device. Now there's finally a portable device that's as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound. You can even add a battery that's as tiny as a deck of cards. It's the Transcend Mini CPAP. And right now, you can try Transcend absolutely risk-free for 10 days. So call now, 1-800-400-9121. Transcend is the world's first portable mini CPAP device. It gives you the freedom to sleep in total comfort anywhere you are. Our smallest and most advanced portable design ever, Transcend is so small and so light, you can fit it in your briefcase or purse to use anywhere you go. It's FAA compliant too, so you can even sleep comfortably while flying. Enjoy the freedom to sleep comfortably anywhere. To receive your 10-day in-home trial, call minicpap.com now. 1-800-400-9121. Again, that's 1-800-400-9121.
Napa know-how. Why buy the dual cam sports action and dash camera from Napa for $69.99? Because it's the only dash cam that's also an everything else cam. So you can record yourself being safe on the road or attach it to your helmet for dirt biking off-road. Because like this camera, you're a double threat. The dual cam sports action and dash camera for only $69.99. That's Napa know-how. Napa know-how. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Offer expires 4/30/17.
Hello, human. It's me, your dog. I know your car battery died, so you couldn't make it home on time, but I just wanted to let you know that everything is A-okay. I made you a couple presents. You know, the kind you pick up in a plastic bag? Yeah, I put one right on your pillow. I figured that'd be the best place for you to find it. Also, the couch needed a little shredding, so I took care of that, too. Also, I ate the mail. Who's a good boy? I am.
Make sure you'll be there. Get a car battery test today. Find a location at interstatebatteries.com. Interstate Batteries, outrageously dependable.
How would you like to lose 10, 15, even 25 pounds in the next 30 days? Well, I'm about to tell you how you can do it for free right now. You've probably heard of Beachbody or seen their workout DVDs on TV like P90X, Insanity, and 21 Day Fix. Well, they just launched a beta trial of their new online video service called Beachbody On Demand, and they're inviting you to use it for free for 30 days. Now, here's the catch. In return, all they want is for you to let them know what you think of their new on-demand service so they can make it the best fitness and weight loss site ever created. Just text the word STREAM to 303030 and you can do 30 days of P90X, Insanity, Brazil Butt Lift, or one of 500 other Beachbody workouts for free. And that means you can lose 10, 20, even 30 pounds without paying a dime. Just text STREAM to 303030. That's STREAM to 303030 to get started for free right now.
Message and data rates may apply. Membership fees apply after 30-day free trial. Cancel anytime.
AM 560. The Answer.
Dan and John Cass in for Amy this morning, and coming up at the top of the 8 o'clock hour, 8:08 to be specific. Synchronize your watches. Victor Davis Hanson. He's one of the best. National Review columnist, senior fellow at the Hoover Institution. We're going to talk about war and peace and Rexon's visit with the authoritarian dictator of Russia after we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
Dan, here are the stories we're following at this hour. Police tell us a robbery motive in a judge's shooting death is being investigated. 2 suburban Chicago men have been arrested on terrorism charges. The uproar over the United video is imperiling Chicago airport police. We'll tell you why. Man received $13 million in a lawsuit over a wrongful conviction while a judge grants an innocence certificate in a 1957 Illinois killing. White Sox trim the tribe. Blackhawks host the Predators. WIND Chicago News Time. 8.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lisa Brady. The family of a doctor dragged off a United flight set to break their silence with their lawyers. Fox Radio's Jeff Manasso is live in Chicago.
Lisa, attorneys for Kentucky Dr. David Dow, who was bloodied when he was removed from a United Airlines flight Sunday, are holding a news conference here this morning. This one day after United CEO Oscar Munoz told ABC's Good Morning America.
The word ashamed comes to mind. As I think about our business and our people, the first thing I think is important to say is to apologize to Dr. Dow.
The incident causing worldwide outrage. United stock prices have also tumbled, and 3 aviation officers who enforced the airline's policies are now on leave. Lisa.
Thanks, Jeff. The U.S. military denies a claim by the Syrian army that a coalition airstrike hit an ISIS chemical weapons depot in Syria. Russia has floated a similar claim as the U.S. blames the Assad regime for the gas that killed dozens last week.
That's a butcher. So I felt we had to do something about it.
President Trump defending the U.S. missile strike on a Syrian base, but he says U.S.-Russia relations may be at an all-time low. He meets today with Secretary of State Tillerson, just back from a tense trip to Moscow, including an unplanned meeting with President Putin. Meantime, Russia loses a human rights case over the deadly siege at a school. Fox Radio's Simon Owen has this live.
Lisa, it was 2004 when Islamist militants seized a school in the Russian town of Beslan, taking more than 1,100 people hostage. 2 days later, Russian security forces stormed the building, and some 330 people were killed. Today, the European Court of Human Rights ruling that Russia failed to adequately protect the victims, that it didn't restrict the use of lethal force as it rolled out grenade launchers and flamethrowers. But Russia disputing the ruling and saying it will appeal. Lisa?
Thanks, Simon. You're listening to Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
45 degrees, rain showers, 8:02 is our time. On AM 560, The Answer, good morning. I'm Mike Scott. The CEO of United Airlines will not give a planned speech in Florida today because of the mushrooming public relations fiasco. Airline executive Oscar Munoz is canceling his scheduled speech at the World Affairs Council, Jacksonville University's Davis College of Business. One man is facing murder and other charges in the shooting death of Cook County Judge Raymond Miles. Police say Joshua Smith has been charged with first-degree murder. Chicago Chief of Detectives Melissa Staples.
The footage obtained from these cameras played a crucial role in identifying the vehicle that was involved in this incident.
Staples says footage from surveillance cameras helped lead authorities to the arrest of Joshua Smith. A Cook County judge is accused of providing false information in order to secure loans for 2 properties on Chicago's South Side. Judge Jessica O'Brien was indicted yesterday on mortgage fraud charges. 2 North Suburban Zion men are accused of trying to help ISIS. Joseph Jones and Edward Scimenti were arrested yesterday morning on charges of conspiring to provide material support and resources to the terror organization. 2 more Chicago aviation police officers are on leave after a passenger was dragged off a United flight. Mayor Emanuel's office says the 3 officers have all now been suspended while the Department of Aviation investigates. And there's a new president of Chicago's largest police union. The city's FOP announcing yesterday challenger Kevin Graham unseated Dean Angelo Sr. yesterday in a runoff election for a 3-year term. Bulls beat the Nets and enter the playoffs in the East, 112-73 winners over the Nets. Derek Holland took a no-hitter into the 6th inning. White Sox trimmed the Indians 2-1. Dodgers blanked the Cubs 2-0. Stanley Cup playoff action kicks off tonight at the UC as the Blackhawks meet the Predators. The news service of Cabela's. New products, amazing deals. Your one stop before the water. Get 25% off all in-stock guideware, 50% off Cabela's Cool Mesh Vest, and up to $150 off select Emotion kayaks, in-store and online at Cabela's.com. 8:04 time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network, here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, some big banks are reporting profits today. J.P. Morgan Chase earnings were better than expected. Higher interest rates helped its lending business. Warren Buffett is selling some of his stake in Wells Fargo. In a government filing, Buffett says he sold more than 7 million shares of Wells Fargo recently and plans to sell another 1.8 million shares. Though Buffett is still a major investor in Wells Fargo, his stake before the sale was approximately 500 million shares. Tesla's Model S is popular as a used car. A new model starts at nearly $70,000. MarketWatch says the pre-owned sedans sell faster than other used luxury cars. Autolist.com says used Model S cars have the briefest time on the market to resell, on average 87 days. The Dow closed down 59 yesterday. NASDAQ dropped 30. The S&P lost 8. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:05 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Go to where the pros go. McGrath Printing and Custom Apparel.
If you're a business owner with commercial printing needs, contact our friends at McGrath Printing Custom Apparel, proud supporters of AM 560 and Food for the Poor. McGrath takes care of all print and apparel needs for companies of all sizes. Chicago's biggest names in manufacturing, pharmaceutical, and medical choose McGrath Printing year after year for truly unmatched customer service and reliability. Mention AM 560 and receive 20% off your first order. That's right, 20% off by mentioning AM 560. For a quick quote, visit McGrathPrint.com, McGrathPrint.com, or call 815-356-5246. That's 815-356-5246. Go to where the pros go.
Go to where the pros go. McGrathPrint.com. McGrathPrint.com.
Men, if you're like me, you appreciate the feeling of a smooth, clean shave. But you're tired of paying $32 for new blades. Stop messing around with those generic razors and start shaving with Harry's for half the price. Harry's is so confident in the quality of their blades, they'll send you their most popular shave set, shaving cream, and post-shave balm for free when you cover shipping, a total value of $20. Just go to harrys.com now and enter code 1137 at checkout to redeem your shave set. That's harrys.com, code 1137.
Writing job descriptions, sifting through resumes, setting up interviews. Hiring's hard, but Indeed.com makes it easier. Post your job, manage candidates, schedule interviews, all on Indeed. And since independent research shows that Indeed delivers 5 times more hires than any other job site, easy works. Right now, we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job on the world's #1 job site. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
8:07 and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Kennedy has heavy delays from Sayre to the Hubbard Tunnel. It is an hour and 2 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 31 minutes from Montrose, 24 the Express. Outbound an hour and 8 minutes to the airport. Eden's 24 minutes. Lake Cook to the junction, outbound 43. The Eisenhower, an hour and 10 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, 47 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 51 minutes to Manheim, an hour 19 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 13 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 53 minutes. Ryan is 29 minutes, 95 to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, slow Foster to Fullerton. Northbound 31st to the Stevenson and Bryn Mawr to Hollywood. Tri-State southbound. Bottled up from 132 to 60. Northbound Cicero to 31st. And from the Reagan Tollway to the Adams Tollway. Reagan Tollway at long delays 31 to 3:55, and Highland much of the way to the Eisenhower. Veterans Memorial slow. The Des Plaines River Bridge all the way to 290. Southbound 53 has delays Dundee to Kirchhoff. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the AirComfort.com Weather Center, here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Mostly cloudy skies throughout the day and night. Periods of morning rain followed by an afternoon shower in spots with a high 54, low tonight 47. A shower or a thunderstorm in the area tomorrow with a high 69. Then showers in the evening followed by a late night shower in spots tomorrow night, low 61. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 45, next news 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer. With Dan and in for Amy this morning, John Cass on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Health Quest Radio with Dr. David Kolbaba. Health Quest Radio is heard Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock here on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan, and in for Amy, as Mike Scott mentioned, is Chicago Tribune columnist John Cass. And John Rexon met with Vlad Putin yesterday. Wasn't sure if that was going to happen, in addition to his meeting with Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov.
So then what happened to the Democratic talking points about Obama being Putin's pooch?
Yeah,
not Obama, President Trump.
I'll tell you what, it's no easy trick to turn Adam Schiff into a church mouse, but that's exactly what's happened over the last week. Here was Rexon briefing the world after his meeting with Putin and their frank exchange of ideas, and you know what that means in diplomatic speak.
Of about 2 hours with President Putin. We frankly discussed the current state of U.S.-Russia relations. I expressed the view that the current state of U.S.-Russia relations is at a low point. There is a low level of trust between our two countries. The world's two foremost nuclear powers cannot have this kind of relationship. We further discussed approaches to improving our channels of communication. We had a lengthy exchange of views regarding the situation in Syria and shared perspectives on possible ways forward.
I'll tell you what, to the left's surprise, Rexon turns out not to be a patsy of anybody's. And I'm thinking of Rexon reprising Sean Connery's role, Barley, in the movie Russia House, which was, of course, the John le Carré novel. Now, you can keep Michelle Pfeiffer as the love interest. Well, what do you think about that? I mean, if Gary Oldman can reprise Alec Guinness as George Smiley, how about Rexon as
Sean Connery?
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, he brings a knife, you bring a gun.
Well, look, I'm not the only one making movie references. I've got the idea from Victor Davis Hanson, of course, great Victor Davis Hanson from National Review Online, must reading. He's also senior fellow at the Hoover Institute and the author of a number of books. He's a classicist and a historian, and always interesting to talk to, which is why we're lucky to have him now. Victor Davis Hanson, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I want to get before we get to your Woody Allen references, I want to get your take on the relationship between Russia and the United States and how you interpreted the statements that Tillerson made about it being at a low point, highlighting some areas where we're in agreement sort of on premises, but certainly not with respect to conclusions.
Well, it's very hard when a major power loses deterrence, and then when it tries to regain it, that's not considered by its enemies as a return to normalcy, but it's considered provocative. So under Obama, we had the reset button in Geneva, Switzerland. We had the dismantling of missile defense. We had the open mic reassurance from Obama. We had the caricature of Romney as somebody who was paranoid about Russia. We had Crimea, Ukraine, etc. You get the picture. So Putin felt there was a new normality where Obama either was wedded to lead from behind or don't do stupid blank abroad, or that if he did do something, Obama would just talk about it and not do anything. The WikiLeaks was the only thing that really offended Obama and the Democrats. You can swallow Crimea, but please don't hack the WikiLeaks DNC. And after that, they went, and it's very strange to see the Democrats go from extremely pacifistic to bellicose. So then Trump comes in and says, wow, you can't do anything if you're the United States because we're boxed in the Spratly Islands with China. We've got North Korea signaling all these problems. Russia's broken a treaty. It's in Syria. And yet I'm supposed to be I'm not supposed to intervene. And he's kind of confused because the Jacksonian, a tough guy, has got to restore deterrence, and yet he can't go nation build. So put all that together, and I think what he's trying to do is tell Putin, we're going to go back to where it was before Obama, and it's not provocative. But on the other hand, if you want to make it provocative, we're going to have problems.
And you made the comparison of Obama to Stanley Baldwin, which is why I enjoy reading your stuff all the time, just because the historical comparisons. And and also because it gives me time to reflect on Winston Churchill's viciousness with respect to Baldwin, who I think on his death said of Baldwin, "I'm sorry he died, but it would have been better had he never lived."
Yeah, he did say that. He said that. Yeah.
So how?
Apply that to many.
So how is Obama Baldwin? In this comparison, and where does that lead? Which is, I think, where you were starting to go.
Well, they were very smooth guys, and they preached and lectured everybody about disarmament and the danger of weapons rather than the people who use them. And most importantly, we kind of blame Neville Chamberlain, but he inherited the world that Baldwin made. So he tried to work with what he had, but Baldwin had essentially stopped fighter production, new fighter models. He had warned the Britons that famous phrase, "The bomber always gets through," in the context of you can't do anything anyway because the bomber will just destroy us. Obama got through during the Blitz, but it surely didn't destroy Britain. So it's the same idea that there's a bunch of volcanoes and they're starting to erupt, but when I left office, they hadn't quite erupted, so I'm a success.
Mm-hmm.
That was the attitude of both Obama and Baldwin, and then their successors had to deal with the lava that came out.
As your point was well made in the National Review, Mr. Obama's tepid leadership in the Middle East has led to ISIS and the destabilization of Syria and the region. Now with Trump throwing missiles at the Syrian regime at least once, and a big push by the neocons to get us back into the Middle East in real heavy terms. Do you think the American public need to know, and do they know, about the relationship between Syria and Turkey, the Kurds, the Sunnis, and I'm just saying this because I'm a big fan of your books, going all the way back to the one on Epaminondas' Soul of Battle.
Yeah.
And and even in your commentary about Baldwin, you try to put things in context. So, do the American people have the context for even listening to this stuff and hearing it about whether we should go to war?
I think they want to square the circle. They don't want to be humiliated abroad like they thought happened during the apology tours and the fake red line and the fake deadlines and the fake step forward line. Exactly, and we've sold out the Eastern Europeans on missile defense, and yet they don't want to go back to the Iraq War type of thing. They were mad that Obama, after all that blood and treasure, abruptly pulled out of Iraq. It was quiet, but they don't want to go back in to make it good again. And this is especially important for Trump because, as you know, he ran damning the Iraq War, even Syria intervention. 2013, he tweeted up a storm. And so he's got this base of former Democratic blue-collar workers that are worried about economic issues. And they don't like the elite in general, but they don't like the elite when they lecture them about why we have to go nation build when their own communities are in crisis. So I'm a little worried. I think your point's really well taken because of all these rumors of Steve Bannon leaving, coupled with all the rumors that people like Max Food or Elliot Abrams or all of the former intervention are just delighted that Trump is supposedly being taken over by his family advisors and Cohn and all of the Democrats around him. I think it's something for legitimate worry, but I'm not in crisis mode yet. But I think he could be punitive and Jacksonian as long as he thinks, what's the step after this and the step after this and the step after this. But if he puts boots on the ground and thinks he's going to change North Korea or Syria, it's not going to work.
What about his reversal on NATO, where he didn't really see the value in NATO as a candidate, and then yesterday he's with the Secretary General and saying now that essentially the allies are paying a little bit more in terms of the overhead combined with engaged in more counterterrorism measures, now NATO has value again.
Yeah, I think he tried to get out of that by saying, I got the members who are paying 2% of GDP from 5 to 8, but that's not really enough to say it's no longer obsolete. I think the real reason was McMaster, probably Mattis, told him, if you really want to get tough with Putin, you've got to have NATO, and you've got to beef it up. You've got to make sure that the Europeans on board, and you've got to use them as much as you can. They use that argument, and that would appeal to Trump, that make the Europeans pay a little bit more, would make them get galvanized as their borders. If he's astute, he can turn this into sort of a Jacksonian argument that NATO's really valuable, but because it defends themselves and we won't have to do it as much. But I don't think he's quite
lines a bit because of the situation in Syria and the missile strike last week. But Benghazi Sue, how do you do, was central to the entire discussion of domestic surveillance and possibly using the surveillance state against political opponents during the 2016 campaign. And you author a more comprehensive piece on Susan Rice in which you make an interesting compare. Provide that for us.
Well, that Woody Allen's eye leg was sort of a counter for Forrest Gump. In other words, this guy just sort of became a chameleon and turned up everywhere. And everywhere there was a disaster, it seemed for some reason it was Susan Rice. It wasn't just the Benghazi lies that she promulgated, but she also deceived the Russians when she said, we're going to have a UN resolution for humanitarian and no-fly zone. And then she, ordered, they had close ground support. And then when you add in all of the stuff we're hearing about unmasking, that Boberg all crazy yarn that she offered, that he would serve with honor and distinction, was captured on the battlefield. And then even going back to the Iran deal, she was the one that told everybody in advance that we would never, give concessions to get these hostages back. And then she knew that the discussions were already in progress, and we in fact did exactly what she said we'd never do 3 months later. So my only confusion in that column was, I don't know if she's a sociopath, an inveterate liar, or that she's just so naive and publicity hungry and politically correct. And so the administration, people like Ben Rhodes beneath her and Obama above her, just thought, wow, we have to lie. Let's wheel out Susan Rice. She'll always go to the spotlight. She'll always lie. And then if something happens, she'll take the blame. Or that she just welcomed it and she's incapable of telling the truth.
I would go with your last theory that Ben Rhodes has his, like the puppet master, has his hand somewhere in her neck to move her jaws.
He's a great storyteller, as Ben Rhodes says about himself. He's like he was a novelist.
Well, that's because journalists in Ben Rhodes' mind are 27-year-old know-nothings.
Well, he was the brother of David Rhodes, the president of CBS, I think, which had a lot to do with him getting hired. But he wrote the talking points for Benghazi, which she went on the 5 shows and kind of massaged and even expanded. So I think she's an egomaniac, and I think she thinks as a woman of color and a minority spokesman that she's less vulnerable to criticism, and she's just got habitual and a habit that she can say anything she wants, and enough secret express to go along with it. Now she went one step too far, and I think she's going to eventually have to pay for some of this stuff, and I don't think her career is going to ever be resurrected.
He is Victor Davis Hanson, National Review columnist, senior fellow at the Hoover Institution. Victor Davis Hanson, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you both for having me.
And he joined us on the Turnkey.pro answer line.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Forecast for today, mostly cloudy, morning rain followed by a shower in spots. In the afternoon and a high of 54. Tonight, mostly cloudy, low 47. And then again, it's whatever the weather is for the rest of the week. I don't care, because Sunday, partly to mostly sunny and breezy, high of 70. I'm roasting a lamb for Easter. Colorado lamb, Jim Telemonte. The only one, not this New Zealand stuff.
Very good job. Sounds delicious. We've got a lot of crashes this morning, so if you want to get to Easter, be careful out there. We got an Island Lake, Bonner Road shut down between Darrell and 12, and in Summit, we still have closures at 63rd and Harlem after an early morning wreck. The Edens is 24 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 43. The Kennedy, an hour and 2 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound an hour 5. Eisenhower, an hour and 10 minutes, Thorndale to the Loop, outbound an hour 23 with a crash on the right side at York Road. Stevenson, an hour and 10 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 55 minutes. Ryan is 29 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tollways are all heavy, especially the northbound Veterans Memorial. It's though all the way from the Des Plaines River Bridge up to 290. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Join me, that's Dan Proft, for the 10th Annual Northwest Suburban Republican Lincoln Day Dinner. It's taking place this coming Wednesday, April 19th at the Cotillion Banquets in Palatine. Speakers include Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner, Illinois GOP Chairman Tim Schneider, and Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit lincolndd.org, lincolndd.org, or you could win tickets right now. Get your smartphones ready. Be caller number, what number, John?
Be caller 6.
Be caller number 6 right now to 312-642-5600, and you'll win a pair of tickets to the 10th Annual Northwest Suburban Republican Lincoln Day Dinner next Wednesday evening. Always a good time. Again, 312-642-5600. 6th caller wins 2 tickets to a Lincoln Day Dinner featuring Rauner, Schneider, and Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin.
Cash bar?
No.
Well, then.
If you're missing teeth or even a single tooth, dental implants are a fantastic way to regain your confidence, your smile, your dental health. Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. You hear a lot of people screaming at you about dental implants. Get it done in a day, or we can treat everybody, or hundreds of thousands of implants. Look, successful implants don't come from an implant factory. What you don't hear talked about is skill, treatment, and installation. These are what make for successful lifelong implants, and that's why you need to see Dr. Noruzi at Fox River Periodontics. Dr. Noruzi is the recommended choice of dentists that don't do implants. You need the experience, skill, and honesty that 24 years of dental implants brings.
This is Dr. Noruzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants.
Call Fox River Periodontics, 630-232-7400, 630-232-7400, or just remember, implantsforme.com, implantsforme.com.
Did you know that if you have mutual funds in your IRA, 401k, or investment accounts, that according to Forbes magazine, you could be paying as much as 3.17% in hidden fees every single year? 3.17% may not sound like much, but over 10 years, it's costing you 32%, whether your fund is up or down. Hi, it's Tom Fortino of the Alpha Wealth Group in Chicago and host of the Alpha Wealth Hour on AM 560. This is just one of the reasons I hate mutual funds, and you should too. You may not know this, but you have far more investment options today without the excessive fees. Learn what they are in my free report, The Truth Behind Mutual Funds. What you learn may shock you. To get your free report, The Truth Behind Mutual Funds, call 630-519-4742. There's no obligation. That's 630-519-4742.
Investment advisory services. Offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc.
You're the one that gets it done. The person your friends call to see if you can fix it. Brakes? No biggie. Shocks and struts? Simple and straightforward. The catalytic converter heat shield? Come on. If it has wheels, you can make it go. But not having the right part can bring your project to a screeching halt. Problem solved with MyPartsGarage.com. My Parts Garage is not a big box store that needs to wait to get a part in. MyPartsGarage.com is the warehouse that sells wholesale to you. They own the inventory. Your part is always in stock. But wait, there's more. Like free shipping within 24 hours, in-state, next-day delivery, or pick it up today at the warehouse. Right now, MyPartsGarage.com will price match your order, and yes, the shipping is still free. The last thing you need to do is drive fast and furiously to find parts. The average driver in Chicago commutes at least 24 miles per day. People are spending more hours in their car than they do at home. Drivers need you. You need MyPartsGarage.com. Lowest prices guaranteed and free shipping.
Spring is here. The birds, the bees, and seasonal allergies. The last thing you need is a pillow you're allergic to. And yes, MyPillow is hypoallergenic. A good night's sleep is so important to our health. For April, you'll receive the 50% discount on a MyPillow 4-pack. That's 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows. With MyPillow, you can move the patented fill to give you the exact support you need, regardless of sleep position. You'll get into deep sleep faster and stay there longer. No waking up to a stiff neck or headache. Our good friend Mike Lindell manufactures them in the good old USA. What's great is you can wash and dry your MyPillow, and of course, you'll get the 10-year warranty with a 60-day money-back guarantee. Get 50% off the 4-pack by calling 800-489-0201 and use the promo code AMY. Or visit MyPillow.com. That's 800-489-0201, promo code AMY.
Here's microbiologist Dr. Kim O'Neill talking about balance of nature.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. They fight against oxidants that damage the cell's DNA, causing mutations that lead to disease. I don't take any supplementation, but I take Balance of Nature because I've seen it in my lab. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection, and I know that it works.
Balance of Nature is providing you the best offer they've ever given. 2 free months of fruits and veggies and free shipping. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
AM 560, The Answer.
When it opened on Broadway, it swept the Tony Awards. When it premiered as a film, it won 8 Oscars. My Fair Lady comes to the Lyric Opera April 28th to May 21st. Visit lyricopera.org to purchase tickets. And I've heard this is very good, actually, from people who know. And by the way, along with the Shakespeare Theater, the Lyric is the most consistently good arts center in Chicago. The shows are consistently good.
I'll be your Pickering to your Henry Higgins.
Ooh. All right, Eliza. AM 560, The Answer is giving away tickets to My Fair Lady through the mobile app. So download or visit our app now to register for your chance to win tickets to My Fair Lady. And coming up, I'll discuss the governor's reelection chances with My Fair Lady, John Cass. Can Governor Ronner win reelection? And if so, how? John Cass tells us at 8:38. But now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
Dan and John, good morning. 45 in rain showers, and President Trump acknowledging the U.S. is not getting along well with Russia right now.
It would be wonderful, as we were discussing just a little while ago, if NATO and our country could get along with Russia. Right now, we're not getting along with Russia at all.
He told the White House news conference relations may be at an all-time low. Fewer are asking for unemployment help. The Labor Department says weekly jobless claims slipped by 1,000 last week to 234,000. The daughter of the United Airlines passenger dragged from a plane earlier this week will hold a news conference today along with a lawyer for her father, David Dow. They're expected to announce a lawsuit against the airline as well as against the city of Chicago. One man faces murder charges in the shooting death of Cook County Judge Raymond Miles. State police investigating after a body was found in the Chicago Sanitarian Ship Canal near Lamont. 2 North Suburban Zion men are accused of trying to help ISIS. Joseph Jones and Edward Schimenti were arrested yesterday morning on charges of conspiring to provide material support and resources to the terror group. And those who would like a shot at being a space tourist will need to do just a bit of planning before liftoff. Blue Origin founder and CEO Jeff Bezos says that means you need to use the bathroom before the flight. Blue Origin's new Shepard space vehicle will not have any sanitary facilities. Bulls clinch a playoff spot, the last one in the East, beating the Nets last night, 112-73. White Sox beat the Indians 2-1. Dodgers blanked the Cubs 2-0. Stanley Cup playoff action. Blackhawks and Predators meet in Game 1 at the UC tonight. The news, a service of Napa Auto Parts, this month at participating Napa Auto Parts stores. The Castrol family of oil is on sale, including Castrol Synthetic for just $5.69 a quart. Keep your ride running longer, stronger. That's Napa know-how. General States pricing. Sale prices do not include applicable state and local taxes or recycling fees. 8:33 is our time. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher has heard enough about Russia.
Once more, I ask the never-ending question, the question that's never been answered for me. Hey, give me even a hypothetical as to how Russia impacted the outcome of our election. I am so sick of talking about whether Russia did or didn't impact the outcome of our election. I can't see straight.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, great coffee, period.
Beware, the federal government can change the rules for your retirement plan at any time. Before the government finds another way to separate you from your money, arm yourself with the Ultimate Retirement Protection Plan. The plan starts with 4 special reports: the new rules of retirement, your 20-minute estate plan, hidden real estate tax bombs to avoid, and 5 easy chair portfolios. The Ultimate Retirement Protection Plan was created by Bob Carlson, America's #1 expert on retirement planning. You'll also get a risk-free membership in our private research letter, Bob Carlson's Retirement Watch. It includes a monthly newsletter, weekly hotlines, and more when you order at retirementwatchradio.com. 1 year is just $49. Try it for 90 days. If it doesn't exceed your expectations, you'll get a complete refund. Call 800-552-1152. That's 800-552-1152. Or log on to retirementwatchradio.com. That's retirementwatchradio.com.
8:35, a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
Thanks, Mike. The southbound tri-state has stop-and-go traffic from 132 in Gurnee to 176. Then from the Lake Forest Oasis to 60 northbound, we have heavy delays from Cicero Avenue all the way to before Irving Park, where a crash blocks 2 right lanes. Adams Tollway slow Meacham to 53, and from the Des Plaines Oasis to the tri-state. Reagan Tollway 25 to Winfield, Highland to Midwest, and York to the Eisenhower. And Veterans Memorial jammed northbound I-55 to 290. Eden's inbound 21 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 37. The Kennedy is an hour and 2 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound an hour 5. The Eisenhower, an hour and 7 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound an hour 19. Stevenson, an hour and 10 minutes. 355 to the drive, outbound 50 minutes. The Ryan is 26 minutes. 95th to downtown. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Cloudy with morning rain showers. There will be a shower in spots later this afternoon as well. High 54, cloudy, and 47 overnight. Currently 45. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan, and in for Amy, our special guest, John Cass, this morning on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Empowered Investing, the show dedicated to investors. Heard Saturdays at noon right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to podcasts of Joe Walsh and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Top of the morning, Dan, and in for Amy this morning, Chicago Tribune columnist John Cass. And
the lovely John.
My Fair Lady, John Cass. Here's the question I pose to you, Mr. Cass. Can Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner win re-election?
Can Rauner be saved?
And if so, how does that come to pass? And we'll take your calls in response to that question as well. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. He's in the midst of a multi-million-dollar ad blitz. Is that a good start?
I'd say I'd leave the flannel shirt that looks like you just took it out of the Orvis box and put that away and wear a flannel shirt like guys wear when they're wearing flannel shirts. That's the first one.
You don't like
There's a certain ring of... I think that Rauner's problem goes beyond the flannel shirt, though.
Oh, you think the flannel shirt won't be able to solve it then? It's bigger than a flannel shirt.
No, and dropping the gerund, as we say, talking, I'm walking, I'm doing, I'm hanging, all that. No, it's serious pathology in the Rauner camp. He was given bad advice early on.
What bad advice?
He did not engage. When he was running for election, and I was writing columns about him and telling voters of Illinois, here's a guy who's going to be the bull in the china shop, I had the sense that he was going to do battle. And one way to do battle, especially in real terms, there's a fellow named Joe Barrios, the Cook County Democratic Party boss, but he's really a toady for boss Mike Madigan. Barrios had I think he couldn't win his own aldermanic election in the 31st Ward. And I wrote about it, and I even talked to the governor. I said, look, if you don't try to take Berrios out, given Madigan's deals with, his private practice, which reduces
property tax appeals.
Property taxes, and Berrios is the assessor, and all sorts of. If you don't take him out, Madigan needs him. If you don't take him out or try to take him out, you won't be seen as a serious person by Democrats, of course, and also by Republicans as well. And I think that there were a group of people around Governor Rauner that didn't want to engage, that wanted to sort of finesse their way through, kind of like, that leadership we got from Mark Kirk that served him so well. Not. And I think it's been disastrous for him. And I hope he can change it. He's got to, I think what he should do is sit down and talk to Dan Proft, because you've said this stuff. I've said this stuff. He's got to do something to actually engage and not engage with Susana Mendoza. For God's sake, he's the governor. She's the Mike Madigan puppet controller. You don't get on that level. You go to fight. You go to and fight to win. But I don't see it. I think it's the group around him. I do. I think they've badly served him, and I think he might be able to change it. What do you think?
Well, I think
Harris, am I a heretic?
No, I don't know. You're not. I think if he were in this room listening to you and what you think he needs to do, he would say things like, I agree with this and I agree with that. And then you'd leave the room and you think, oh, okay, well, we got some agreement on some course corrections, and so I can't wait to see those course corrections. And then you won't see those course corrections.
I don't know about that now. I think he's smart. Look, he's a smart money guy. He's not a politician.
Well, I'm saying that up until this point.
Right. I think that there's going to be changes, but I don't know. I mean, just my gut feeling. I have no inside information on that, but I think there's got to be. If not, then it's just going to be it'll be him, Rauner versus a rich guy, Pritzker,
Spalding or Diamond Joe Quimby,
or the guy who's going to get all the media, because I'd say almost every political media in this town will suck up to the Kennedys. So it'll be
of course
Joe Kennedy and John and
the Chicago Press Corps is just an appendage of the Chicago Democrat Party.
I wouldn't say appendage, but I think that they see
handmaiden.
I think that they see things in terms of process, and process is a Democratic thing.
They don't. They're clearly uninterested in outcomes, because the idea.
If the outcome has been 50 years of Democratic rule, look what you have.
And 90 years in the
90
city.
Years in the city.
And yeah, but it's certainly a half century we're coming upon when you talk about Madigan and Cullerton and control of state government, even with compliant Republicans bearing some culpability as well. But so you think if he changes course and stops with what I would describe, here's the thing about his commercials that are running right now. I've said this. That's not inauthentically him. He is not a suit and tie guy.
No.
He is an outdoorsman.
Yeah.
He had a Montana ranch before he ran for governor.
Before he brought his pet mayor, Rahm Emanuel, out there.
Well, that's
now look what happened.
That's part of the problem. That's part of the problem, is not understanding who your friends are and who they're not.
Right.
That's one of his problems. But in terms of what he presents with the Tool Time set, that actually is kind of him.
Yeah, sure.
The problem is it's so kitschy, it comes across as inauthentic.
Exactly.
Even though it is generally authentic. And here's the other thing, which I think you were getting to. This kind of like, aw shucks, I'm fighting the good fight down here, and doing so optimistically. I don't think that commercial, and I understand this is just the opening salvo in an 18-month, $100 million campaign, but I don't think it conveys the sense of urgency and anxiety that people feel in the state.
No.
And I think he needs to get back on the side of the skirmish side of Illinois families rather than
the ones who are leaving.
Well, right, and rather than kind of be in this construct that Madigan wants him in as just another politician fighting an abstract battle over this idea called structural reform with other politicians. He needs to be here on this side of the skirmish line with Illinois families that are leaving or looking to leave or trying to leave or afraid they're going to have to leave, saying, I am going to lead us into battle. I need you to revolt with me because I'm staying and I want you to stay. And here's how close we are if we can get to the other side of this political ruling class that you see in the distance on the battlefield.
Correct.
And we're going to take the fight to them, but I can't do it without you.
Well, and also he can't do it without an army. And
right.
Our last guest, Victor Davis Hanson, one of his great books, 1989, The Soul of Battle, he talks in part of it about General Sherman, right? Lincoln had problems with his generals. Here comes Sherman. He marches through the South, laying waste, right? Because it was a war. That's the deal. And if you have people around you, Governor Rauner, who are just mamby-pambying around because they're looking for their next gig, which is what they're doing. You know, I don't know these people. I haven't talked to them. I introduced Bruce Rauner to Illinois. I have not had any conversations with his political people.
Yeah, well,
what does that tell you?
That's a good example.
I don't expect people to kiss my ring,
but that's
the deal.
Let me just say it for you. That is a good example of a communication and marketing team that is in absentia, and the governor's in absentia as well. Now, ultimately, that's his fault.
Yeah, well, they're badly. I think they're misserving him. Like that commercial. My commercial would be: you take that doctor, you know, the screaming doctor, Dr. Dow. You take his voice. And you have a Mike Madigan character beating the hell out of someone, a taxpayer, in a sack with a stick, and then you dump him out, and the guy runs to Tennessee. That's what's happening.
Look, I know some of the people around Rauner. I think it's a mixed bag. I think he has some good people around him, and I think he has some people around him that have served him badly, as you've said. But he's allowed it to happen. And ultimately, if he cannot make personnel changes or course corrections, then he'll find himself November of 2018 where he is today, which is upside down.
But that's where the Democrats want him. And what you're going to have is what? Two rich guys who think they're going to be able to handle Madigan? And on Pritzker, Pritzker's guys, Rahm's guys are all with Pritzker now. Your buddy, Peter Mark Giangreco, whatever his name is.
Yeah, same difference.
They're all with, Rahm is with Pritzker. I'd say the Dailies and Madigan is going to be with Kennedy. Who's with the taxpayers?
Right.
Who's with the taxpayers?
There's the market opportunity. But he has to understand that the reelection goes through Eastern DuPage County and North Lake County and suburban and exurban communities. It doesn't go through Glencoe.
And it goes through the 31st Ward, where I would send General Sherman there and take out Joe Barrios, who I happen to like. He's a decent guy, but that's politics.
But it's middle to upper middle income families that are getting blitzed from every side. That is the army that he needs to assemble if he wants to win re-election. It is not, whatever he gets from the North Shore is gravy, but it doesn't go through Highland Park and Glencoe and Kenilworth and Wilmette. It just
you're
doesn't.
Asking rich moderates who want to protect status quo to be your friends, they're not the ones you need when you're going to war. You need the same people that Trump got, the sheet metal workers on Archer and
Absolutely.
and Harlem.
Absolutely.
Those are the guys you need.
Absolutely. So he needs to stoke the revolt and incorporate the Trump supporters, even though he wants to provide some distance between himself and Trump to be independent. I understand that to a large extent. Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing that's absent. Just forget Kennedy and Pritzker and Biss and
I can. Biss is a phony.
Well, I know he is, but my point is, say, we could talk about what's lacking from those guys all day long,
right?
But what's really lacking from Rauner, I mean, going back to John Wooden, one of the great strategists of all time that has application for a lot of things outside of sports. If we do what we're supposed to do, it doesn't matter what they do. If Rauner does what he is supposed to do, it doesn't matter what Kennedy, Pritzker at all do. But he hasn't figured out what it is he's supposed to do. He is trying to minimize risk. He's trying, as a good word you said, he's trying to finesse his way back to the governor's mansion. There is no finessing in these times.
You will be, you did read where you're going to be next week, where at the Lincoln Day dinner. Where is it?
In Palatine on Wednesday night. Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see how he, is there a point where he changes? And how will we know, Dan? How will we know?
Well, you'll know because he'll start sounding more like we're describing than what we're seeing at present on television. Not to mention his presence north of I-80. for most of the last 2 years, the fact that he was still the governor of Illinois and Cook and the Collars was a rumor. He needs to establish a continuing presence here and not just talk at people and to stake out positions, bullet points on a screen or in a mail piece.
He's not a politician. They set him up to play that game, and he followed them, and they screwed him, and they'll end up with a gig somewhere else. That's what they're going to go for.
But here's what he needs to do. He needs to engage and have an 18-month dialogue with the families that he needs in his fold.
Yes.
Making a case, explaining what's happening, arming people with information that they can turn around and use within their circles of influence. That's how you build and maintain an army and successfully lead them into battle.
You know what? And why I'm concerned about it, politically, personally, is not for Bruce Rauner's sake. He's a multi-gajillionaire. All those guys are going to be fine. It's the middle class in this state that are being squeezed. And you did a whole series of stuff on property tax. Right? Well, when he got in, when he was in the first year, that's the time to go to war. That's the time to pull a Patco on SEIU. That's the time to say, hey, I can find other people who can, take care of old people. I don't need you guys. Bye. He could have done a lot of that, and he didn't. Because those people didn't want him to fight.
Mike in Geneva, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I just want to say you guys are killing it this morning. I am so pleased with what I'm hearing, really. But we come to Rauner, and it's like you say, he has to almost shock us again. It's been all this time, and you had so much hope, and nothing's happening. He has to have a commercial where he's sitting with a family. He's talking about property taxes, and they're going, everything's great, we love where we're at, and then you zoom out, and they've moved. They're in Wisconsin. They're in Indiana. And this is what our future is. And he has to take advantage right now. He's just sitting back. I don't understand it.
Thanks for the call, Mike. Jim in Rochelle.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that most of those middle-class voters are union members, just as a word of the wise, and in-home service workers, putting people out of business, putting companies out of business that take care of the aging and the elderly and the sick and the poor. That's still on Rauner's plate. You have an uphill battle.
Well, thanks for the call, Jim. I mean, I agree with respect to the trade unions and even some public sector union rank and file. I agree those should be Rauner voters, but he's got to make a case. I mean, in terms of social,
in the beginning, he had them all enveloped with the public workers.
That's right,
and I'm not against them either.
That's true.
They're going to get. I'm worried that they're going to end up with nothing at the end of this.
And oh, by the way, before Rauner assumed office as governor, we were 51st out of 50 behind even the District of Columbia in terms of providing services to the developmentally disabled. So for those that are latecomers to social service providers and just listening to what you're hearing now and the Democrats pretending to be champions, all that time and all that money that's been taxed and borrowed and spent, and we're 51st out of 50 with Democrat control of this state before Rauner for 15 years, all three branches. And what did we get in the social service provision space? That's the kind of argument he needs to make. He needs to provide people with the ammo, the intellectual ammo. Ralph and Rantoul.
Yeah, good morning. Rauner's going to lose because he can't fight or doesn't fight. I've heard him speak before. He's an okay guy. And as far as the Dems on the left, what the people out there need to understand, hey, all you Democrat voters, is they don't care about you. In fact, they're talking to you. They're talking about you as which plant you're going to be sent to for which flavor of Soylent Green. You're just their food.
Yes. Thanks for the call, Ralph. Alan in Rockford.
It's the classic good versus evil, and I think John makes a point with the fact that Bruce Rauner's time has come and gone. It's Johnny-come-lately fighting Duke Nukem down there in Springfield, and Mike Madigan is not swayed by moral, just arguments that make sense.
No.
That time over time. And, and John, I would say as far as your lack of conversation with the governor, reach out to him. Insist that he has a conversation with you. Put the onus on yourself.
I don't think,
Thanks for the call, Alan.
Thanks, Alan. I didn't say that it's over for Rauner. My question is, just to be clear on everybody, because I know now all the Rauner suck-ups that led him into this crappy place that he's in are listening now, and they're going to tweet each other or whatever. They'll go on Capital Facts and do it anonymously like they always do. But I'd suggest that he can turn it around. He can. but he's got to have generals. And the outfit when the outfit doesn't have generals, they can't do anything. Same in politics. You need generals that will march to the sea like General Sherman, and you cannot do it by accommodating Mike Madigan.
I agree. I think it's still salvageable.
Yes.
But I think the window is not the next 18 months or the next year or the next 6 months. I think he's on a 90-day, 120-day window to start moving back from the precipice if he wants to get home in 18. So that requires those course corrections we're talking about, if those are the proper ones, but in our opinions they obviously are. That requires they be implemented tout suite so that you can start to see the effects as people engage with the conversation that Rauner could potentially have.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
They are here, circling over your head, and they're tracking you down. You feel overwhelmed, like you can't escape. You need a solution to get your back taxes filed, to put your life back on track. You need someone who can keep the vultures at bay and work directly with the IRS to leverage every opportunity to settle your tax debt. Mary Karpowitz, CEO of Comprehensive Tax Solutions, is licensed to represent you before the IRS. Don't let the IRS threaten you. You should never need to speak to them directly. Mary does that for you. Comprehensive Tax Solutions will help you settle your entire IRS tax debt for up to 85% off the original amount owed, including penalties and interest if you qualify. Comprehensive Tax Solutions, family-owned in Chicagoland, can be a lifesaver for you. Call 708-478-6770, 708-478-6770, or go to resolveyourtaxproblems.com. Call 708-478-6770 now.
Have you racked up more than $10,000 in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? You should know. The credit card companies are tricking you into thinking there's no way out. Credit card companies would rather you didn't know that there are ways you can become debt-free and you don't have to pay the entire amount you owe. There are debt relief programs that help people like you escape overwhelming credit card debt. National Debt Relief has helped tens of thousands of people just like you reduce more than $500 million of debt. National Debt Relief has helped so many people, they're A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau. You don't have to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan. You have the right to settle your debt for a mere fraction of what you owe. Reduce a portion of your debt now. Call National Debt Relief at 800-518-4020. 800-518-4020. That's 800-518-4020.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Bob Aument, a founding partner of the law firm of Dassman & Aument and longtime personal customer of Signature Bank. Our firm recently left one of the larger banks to bank with Signature Bank, and it's been a refreshing change. With Signature Bank, we've been able to tailor banking solutions that fit the specific needs of our firm. Beyond that, Signature Bank is responsive, efficient, and timely in meeting those needs. If I have a request, I pick up the phone and talk to Mick O'Rourke, not someone at a phone bank thousands of miles away. Dassman & Aument needed more than what the larger banks offer, and we found that with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity, sponsored by Upstream-Ideas.com. You better hope a river doesn't run through it, your property that is, because that river may soon have the same property rights as you, which is to say none. In India and New Zealand, radical environmentalists have succeeded in getting rivers conferred the same legal status as human beings. If PETA and the Community Environmental Legal Defense Fund can figure a way to get such cases to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, they may be in business. Remember, we're talking about people who believe there is no difference between the enslavement of blacks in America and the captivity of orca whales at SeaWorld. The moral of the story for sapient beings, particularly surrender center-rightists, is that appeasement of leftists doesn't satiate them. It only increases their collective appetite. When the left removed the right to life of the unborn, many on the center-right went along with the woman's body, woman's choice redefinition cover story. When the left removed a child's natural right to his mother and father through the redefinition of marriage, many on the center-right went along with the marriage equality cover story. Life redefined, check. Family redefined, check. All that's left for the the left in terms of undermining the foundations of a free society is private property rights. Checkmate.
AM 560, The Answer.
Well, thanks to Chicago Tribune columnist John Cass for joining us this morning. A pleasure. Tomorrow, his colleague Kristen McQuarrie now.
That's only two of us.
That is now the headline.
Two conservatives
with
left.
Mike Scott.
Police say robbery a motive in a judge's shooting death. WIND Chicago News Time.